Are we live? I think we're live. Okay. This is so dumb. But we're doing it anyway. Fuck it, dude. Are we good? Are we loud and clear? Oh shit, Brit. Oh shit. I just hope my internet is not going dog shit in the middle of the fucking stream. That would sucks balls, bro. Jesus Christ. So loud. Who do you think is gonna win the fucking Game Awards? The fucking Game of the Year? I'm kinda curious, not gonna lie. Oh shit! Oh wait, hold up. Let me just refresh the fucking alert. I need to fix this. Like it doesn't. Every time I restart my OBS, it doesn't show the fucking last subbed and last dono. So let me just do this real quick. Oh my god, my ear.
Putang ina! Si Optimum Pride! Pungingin Optimum Pride!
No fuck you would no underscore
don't worry,
dev
it's just
why people happy
it's a
middle
previous
finger.
alert.
Si Optimum Prime to.
New poll has started. Resident Evil Village. True. Real and true. Oh yeah. Let's just hope this one does not last that long because I got work, dude. I got some work. This one does. I got some work in like 2 hours or so. So we'll see. If there is, I'll multitask or some shit. Oh my god. Bam 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 bam. How long was the last year Game Awards last? Is it like an hour or so? Or is it like a 2 hours thing? I feel like 2 hours is kind of long for this kind of event, isn't it? What's like the common length for this kind of shit? Because I don't think it's gonna reach 2 hours or so. But I guess we'll have to find out. Holy fuck. Wait, oh my god. Last year was 3 hours? The fuck? No way. Okay, I'm kind of Wait, this is not good. All right, I might have to stream while working. Nah, I'm not gonna end. I'm just gonna mute myself and just like react Andy in the chat. I still gonna watch this on the side anyway. Oh shit!
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 2021 Game Awards pre-show. It's a show for all you completionists out there that rewards you with exclusive content, awards, and not to be missed, or you'll
It's still gotta start in 30 minutes.
I'm Sydney Goodman, and as you can see, I am in person at the iconic Microsoft Theater to hype you up for gaming's biggest night. We are live streaming around the real world and in the virtual world, thanks to Horizon Venues with Oculus. Our main show starts soon and includes massive musical performances, some of the biggest talent.
Why the fuck do they start at this hour anyway? What the fuck?
And Destiny 2. But if there's one thing this community knows, it's that you don't have to hail from a giant studio to make your mark in gaming.
It's 30 minutes to be fair. It's not 1 hour.
World premiere.
Oh shit, world premiere.
Action adventure that is as charming as its hero is cunning. This is Tunic.
Oh wait, we played the demo. Wait, this is not world premiere? Yeah, we played the demo for this. The fuck? Lies. It's a cute game. Zelda-esque. It looks so colorful. Tunic. Damn, that's some fancy shit. It's a very fancy trailer. Oh wait, hold up, let me...
And now it's time for the very first award of the evening, and I really can't think of a better one to start us off. Games for Impact. This category highlights the very best of what gaming can be. Thought-provoking stories that challenge the player on more than just skill, exploring all the corners of the human condition. These are the games that remind us, in a medium where you can be anything, be good, or at least chaotic neutral. Here are the nominees of the Games for Impact Award. And the Game Award for Games for Impact goes to Life is Strange: True Colors.
Woo!
Thank you so much. I can't believe we won. As devs, we work on games for years at a time.
I haven't played the game. No idea.
By the time we do, the world's often different from when we started the adventure. That's never been more true for me than with Life is Strange: True Colors. It's not just about finishing a game in quarantine. Who could have predicted what kind of an impact a game about human connection would make in 2021? So from everyone at Deck 9 and our partners at Square Enix, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Okay, this is kind of awkward.
Now, before we take a quick break, I have to tell you about Luna, Amazon's cloud gaming service.
Oh
that
my
turns your
God.
TV into a gaming console. Now, if you haven't heard of Amazon, they're a little indie development studio. I'm kidding. Anyway, now for a limited
funny.
time, the Fire TV gaming bundle is $40 off. The bundle includes a Fire TV stick, 4K Max, and Luna controller, a high-performance controller built for Luna. Get it now at Amazon.com/gaming bundle.
Does anyone
We'll
actually
be right
use
back
Luna?
With more Game Awards pre-show after this.
I'm not sure.
Hey Game Awards, I'm Nate Hill.
Hey, I'm Ariel Powers, and we'll be watching the Game Awards streaming to you on Verizon's 5G network.
Yeah, come check it out. We're gonna party hardy until we can't hardly party. And there's gonna be some surprise guests along the way.
I think one of their names is Jack Harlow, yeah?
I think one is Jack Harlow.
Yeah, Jack Harlow.
So yeah, come by at 5 p.m. Pacific, and we'll be on twitch.tv/Nate Hill.
Yeah, see you guys soon.
Who? Oh shit. Actual good game. I should order some food while we're at it.
Ragnarok is here. And it will take the full might of your tribe to turn the tide for Midgard. Yes, even them. You are Einherjar, chosen by the gods for this very moment. To cut this giant problem down to size. No pressure.
Godfall! This fucking game. I'm so glad I didn't pre-order it. Holy shit. Oh my god. Free to claim on Epic Games
Hey
Store.
everyone, and welcome back. We are so happy to have you with us, whether you're in person or watching the stream. We
Who
pulled
played us
Reddit's
exactly?
r/gaming
The devs.
community to see what their pick is for 2021's Game of the Year, and the winner is Resident Evil Village. And if you're on TikTok, use the
True,
hashtag
easy.
Game Night to celebrate the Game Awards. We are getting closer to the big show, and people are showing up early because the early birds get the worm, and they know better than to miss out on 3 of the biggest world premieres in gaming that we are about to see. Roll the thing.
Dude, why would they pick this hour to do this show? I actually don't like it.
KOF 15.
Okay, I swear to God, this is not a world premiere. Oh, is it a new character? I actually don't like the art style for this new King of Fighters. It's so bad. It looks pretty scuffed. I don't know what it is.
Welcome to KOF, the world's premier martial arts festival. The King of Fighters 15.
15.
Get ready for a fight.
Oh. What's this? This looks good. A game based on true events? Monkas. Wait, what is this? Okay. Ah. The Chainsaw Massacre. Multiplayer horror game. I mean, it's Dead by Daylight-ish.
I remember the Kartoba.
Ooh, what is this?
An island in a dune sea. I remember the Guide Stone. The Diamond Shoals. The Sisters of Valcora, spinning 100 billion stars. The Song of the Core. I remember
Adagio.
opening the gates.
Oh, I love this piece. Oh, isn't this chorus? This is chorus, right? I kind of want to try it, but I'm not really a big fan of this kind of game. So I kind of don't know. It's a sick soundtrack.
Was it so long ago? No, not so long. But not long enough.
Oh, it's like a painting. Homeworld 3? Oh my god. Okay. The Q4 2022? Okay.
And now I have the honor of announcing the winners for 4 esports categories. For Best Esports Athlete, here are the nominees. The Game Award goes to
Simple.
Simple.
Yeah, let's go.
Congratulations.
Woo.
And now here are your nominees for Best Esports Team.
Sentinels.
And the Game Award goes to Nadas Vincier.
Ooh! Hell
Congratulations,
yeah!
Navi.
Oh shit, the CSGO community.
For Best Esports Coach, here are the nominees.
Damn!
And the Game Award goes
CSGO actually
Koma.
wins the vote
Congratulations, Koma.
against Valorant?
And for Best Esports
Interesting.
Event, here are the nominees.
TI.
And the Game Award goes to 2021 League of
Ah,
Legends
fuck
World
off.
Championship. Congratulations, League of Legends World Championship, and congratulations to all the winners.
Who?
And now we have 3 more world premieres in a row ready for you, spanning all different genres and niches. Niches. And to start us off, rising from the ashes
you
to
say
take their
ninja?
rightful place as gaming royalty once again, Telltale Games is back and better than ever, and I cannot wait for you to see.
Oh damn, they're back. Hopefully in a good term.
I've heard stories about you. I know you've been a rock hopper, so you've survived the crushing black.
What is
of
this?
space.
Oh shit,
Or the
graphics.
Gospel
Hello?
series.
It's not comical
You don't put
anymore.
up with any bullshit.
Oh,
Dawes'
oh
attack dog.
damn.
So you don't have any problems killing inners or belters who disagree with the OPA.
This is a new art style?
I've heard quite a bit about you, Kamina Drummer. It's hard to tell if it's all true, though.
Who?
Truth is truth. How you deal with it is up to you, Boss Mang.
So it's an original?
Hi, I'm Kara G from Amazon's hit show, The Expanse, and I'm thrilled to be exploring this great character further. Check out the next issue of Game Informer
Oh,
to
it's
learn
based
more
on a
about
show in Amazon. Okay.
We all have our reasons for Babylon's tower to fall.
No idea.
But not everyone
Oh shit.
has the power to make it happen. You do.
Square Enix. Oh shit, Platinum.
Your bond with the Gideon coffin gives you strength.
Is this a remaster? This looks so scuffed.
Powers. Control. The only thing you can't do is go back.
Oh. Okay.
The tower awaits.
Dun, dun,
It's
dun.
time to ascend.
Okay, okay. Babylon's Fall. Yeah, no idea. Oh, that game. God damn.
Free weekend. Play now.
Free
And
weekend.
coming soon.
Take the village! Conquer the Highlands! Scatter the Mesa by destroying that tower!
What the fuck? Okay.
Defy the Iron Fist!
What me? Jesus. That's a big ass sword.
Merry Shipmas!
What? Okay.
I have something for you.
Alright then.
What's up, everybody? I am Ariel Powers, and I'm at
You
the
say
Game
shit,
Awards.
miss? Yep.
Let me take you on a tour. That's the stage right there, and this is the back of it. That's pretty much it. We'll be hanging out with myself and Nate Hill tonight on his Twitch channel. Make sure you come through. It's going to be all over Verizon's 5G network. It's going to be insane. We have some special guests for you, so make sure you tune in and hang out with us. See you there.
And now, guess what I have? 2 more world premieres for you coming in steaming
Okay.
hot, fresh from the oven. Let's take a look.
A creature wanders restlessly through the darkness.
Her name is something you see in the...
Silver light and
Oh, Aerial
the
Powers,
light
yeah.
on the mountains. And with an entranced roar,
Monster Hunter!
it shows its true form. Leave the beast to me. This is a royal matter.
Sunbreak. The DLC?
We shall be in port soon.
Jesus, the fucking 720 resolution though.
This is our outpost, El Garden.
Okay. Amiibo! Betches! It arrived!
Hey y'all. You've been reckless with other people's hearts for so long, Jala. It was a matter of time before you wrecked your own. Morning, Ma. Wow,
Okay.
Jala. Hi, Auntie. You pissed off your exes so much, they organized against you.
Are we flirting? Or are we fighting?
Come closer and find out.
What the fuck? Okay. What is going on?
Time to cook.
I'm confused.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, you guys can have this. I'm good. I'm good, chat. Thirsty suitors.
Coming soon. Patience.
Okay, what the fuck?
Evil Dead the game at the Game Awards. And tomorrow on Twitch's Winter Gathering, Jeff Keighley will chat with Bruce Campbell himself and Saber's Tim Willits about the game, which is coming out next year.
Oh,
and
shit.
now we've got the world gameplay premiere of another Evil game, Evil West, which we also announced last year at the Game Awards. Let's take a look.
Evil who? I didn't remember Evil West.
You know what kept me alive all these years? Upkeep, maintenance, vigilance.
CAD Game. I think CAD Game's a little bit special. They're probably gonna announce it in the main event. Oh shit, this looks fun. Wait a minute. This kind of looks sick.
Oh, you didn't see that coming.
James
I don't know
McCree.
about you, but I am greedy for more content. Here's a new world premiere from Perfect Worlds.
Perfect World? What the fuck? Oh shit, what is this?
Ah, good morning, Death. What a lovely day to be alive, wouldn't you say? Ready for another busy week in the afterlife? Oh my, busy may have been an understatement. Evidently, your sorrows have been working overtime. Oh my, really? Wow, that is truly unprofessional. Now, Death, we talked about this. Try not to lose your temper again. Maybe it's about time your subordinates showed you some respect. Well, you know what they say. If you want things
Okay, the art style is
nice,
pretty
it's
fucking
best
sick
to
though.
do them yourself.
It's like the Hollow Knight shit. Have a nice death. That's actually pretty sick. I kind of like that. What up, Chili?
Hey everybody,
How you doing?
I'm Ariel Powers. The Game Award is coming up. We're watching and hosting a watch party together on Nate Hill's channel.
Yeah, we're going to be watching on twitch.tv/Nate Hill, and it's all powered by Verizon 5G.
Dude, how much did Verizon pay this guys?
And me and Ariel, so come by and check it out.
Come through.
For it.
See you guys.
They've been doing this for
And
3
now
times
I have
now.
the pleasure of presenting the Game
Holy
Award for
shit.
Best Audio Design. When your medium relies so heavily on being successful in putting the player inside your story, audio design is everything. It's the ultimate hint system, an instant mood that either alerts the player to what's coming next or obscures it. It's basically playing God. Here are the nominees for Best Audio Design. And the Game Award for Best
Forza?
Audio Design goes to
No. RE?
Forza Horizon 5.
Oh, Forza, okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Our audio team throughout the development of Forza Horizon 5 have just been so passionate about everything that they do. There's this relentless appetite to produce an audio experience of the absolute highest quality. This award, it really does mean the world to us. I'm going to say a few thanks if that's okay. So Fraser, Ruri, Mattia, Matt, and Rich, guys, you did it. This is for you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Forza Horizon 5. And now we have an incredible composer, Takeshi Furukawa, here to tell us more about his latest score. Let's check it out.
Whoa. Wait, what? Wait, what? Not a game?
Hi everyone, I'm Takeshi Furukawa. You might have heard my music. I am most known for my BAFTA-nominated score for The Last Guardian. Several years ago, I met with a new and
It's a
exciting
PS4
Swedish
exclusive.
studio who shared with me their vision for a beautiful sci-fi story. The game centers around a heartfelt relationship between a young girl and an adorable creature. I instantly fell in love with the project and its stunning visuals. Here's a
Okay.
taste of the game with the original soundtrack I'm working on right now. I hope you enjoy it.
I like me some music. Gimme. Okay, a new devs or indie devs. Takeshi Furukawa. Okay, I'm down. Instant. Please tell me it's gonna be available on PC. Oh, I'm down. Oh, this game looks gorgeous already. Dude, what the fuck is going on? This is so cool. Planet of Lana. No gameplay, but hey, or that could be the gameplay. Oh my god! Okay, that's adorable. Holy shit. Yes, it's on Steam. Oh, we saw this before. It was a different trailer.
Here it is. I can't believe it. We are already here. We are down to our final world premiere of our
Hell yeah.
pre-show. It is a special game announcement.
Lana
Something
Rhodes.
you did not see coming.
Kojimbo. What is this? Persona?
Hello, the Game Awards! I come bearing news! Ever wonder what happened after Persona 4 Golden? Now you can check out Persona 4 Arena Ultimax and find out! I can
Wow.
barely wait to show you how everybody's doing!
Oh, it's a fighter game.
Persona 4 Arena Ultimax will be released for PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and Steam on March 17th. The Steam pre-order will be available very soon. Oh, how steamy!
What the fuck?
Okay, everyone, it's time for me to hand it off to our main show. I hate to say goodbye, but I think I've earned a chance to chill out and have my mind blown with incredible awards and exciting artists, performances by Sting and Imagine Dragons,
Sting!
appearances by Keanu Reeves, Carrie Ann
Wait,
Moss,
are they gonna perform the song?
Carey, Ben Schwartz, and yes, more world
Arcane?
premieres coming up so soon for our main show. And I just want to say, I hope I didn't get too braggy about how
What
many
could have
world
been?
premieres we had, but you know what? I'm not going to apologize, because when the best of game development
No
and
shot.
production has that much to share, I think we all win. And when it comes to the Game Awards,
Fucking told
more
you,
and more, baby.
Jigs. It's a
Thank
good
you all for
song.
getting stoked with me at the pre-show, and congratulations to the winners of our first awards of the
Get
night.
fucked.
And that's it for me. I'm Sydney Goodman. I'm gonna go find my seat. The 2021 Game Awards starts now.
Woo! It is!
I am the monster you created.
Oh, they got Ray Chan as well.
You ripped out all my parts. And worst of all, for me to live, I gotta kill the part of me that saw that I needed you more.
Oh my god.
I hope you know we had everything when you broke me and left these pieces. I want you to hurt like you hurt me today. And I want you to lose like I lose when I play what could have been.
Oh.
What could have been.
Goddamn Ray! Woo!
Don't you love who I am? What we could have been.
Bitch,
I am your ghost, a fallen angel. You ripped out all my parts. I couldn't care what invention you made me, 'cause I was meant to be yours.
I'm a big fan of Ray Chan. So good. Woo! You broke me and left these pieces.
I want you to hurt like you hurt me today. I want you to lose like I lose when I play.
Oh my god, the violin. Ah.
I want you to hurt like you hurt me today. I want you to lose like I lose when I play. What could have been.
Oh my god, he still got it, dude. Let's go. So good. What a fucking legend. Mm.
Oh, you're not afraid of the future? with all of its unknowns.
Why don't we just go ahead and tell her that we're divorcing?
My daughter is not a weapon.
Take him away.
The fate of the
Where the fuck would we see Arcane?
is in your hands.
Is there Arcane in this shit?
Her behind my back. It's not what you think,
In
man.
Arc Awards?
Give me life and in death.
Oh, and this is the game of the year.
Suffering here, Spirit.
Elden Ring.
You have to work on it. You can't just give up.
We're never getting out of here.
Let's see how special you are.
I had been doomed to a life of solitude.
Rule with strength, but understand suffering.
Far Cry 6.
It
Mega
will
lol.
not be fine. It will be fantastico.
I guess it's my time to shine.
God gives victory to the lions. When I look into your eyes,
Actually, I haven't finished the game.
Sorry, could you repeat that? After him! Do you feel it? Yes. You want to stay a team? Enjoy the beach. One revolution was enough.
Inscription!
I'm breaking this loop.
Okay, why do I keep seeing Arcane?
Welcome to the Game Awards 2021. Now, here's your host, Jeff Keighley.
Hey, the big man. The big man.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Keighley, and this is the Game Awards, video games' biggest night, live in person.
Hell yeah. Woo!
It's amazing. First of all, wasn't Sting phenomenal? So honored to have him open our show. That was what could have been from Arcane, the new Netflix series based on League of Legends. Thank you so much, Sting, Ray Chen, and the Game Awards Orchestra, conducted by Lauren Balfe. That was absolutely incredible. Thank you, guys. Well, I gotta say, it feels so incredible to be back here on stage at Microsoft Theater and streaming live to tens of millions of you around the world. This is a night for the fans. And, you know, the games we love are nothing without amazing developers. And that's why we do this show, to honor the creators of games. So welcome to all of you guys here today. So good to see everyone. But, you know, we got to be real, and we can't ignore the headlines that are out there. Game creators need to be supported by the companies that employ them.
True.
I think we all agree with that. So let me just say this before we get to any of the news or announcements or awards.
Blizzard.
We should not and will not tolerate any abuse, harassment, and predatory practices by anyone, including our online communities.
That's a straight fucking slap to the face.
If we want this industry to keep
right
growing,
there.
we must build an even brighter and more inclusive future. The games we play, and when the games that we love, they teach us that we can impact the world around us. And tonight, I call on everyone to do their part to build a better, safer video game industry. Speak out online. Vote with your time and with your dollars. Empower these world builders who are creating the future of all entertainment. And believe me, the future you're about to see looks absolutely incredible. We got a lot of good stuff for you. We have so much news to get to. But now, to present tonight's first award, please welcome a nominee tonight and the star of Far Cry 6, the one and only Giancarlo Esposito!
God damn, man himself. Jesus!
Independence allows a game to go a little bit more wild, become a bit stranger,
and the freedom to break boundaries. Tonight's radically creative nominees for Best Independent Game demonstrate excellence achieved through great risk. Here are the nominees for Best Independent Game.
Dude, it's weird to see him smile so much.
Look, I know this sounds weird, but the day's repeating itself.
I think Kina's gonna win this one. For sure. Oh shit, Inscription, I forgot. But I think Kina is a little bit more popular. I feel like Kina would have more votes. For sure.
And the Game Award for Best Independent Game
Inscription?
goes to
I think it's Kina.
Kena,
Yep.
Bridge of Spirit.
Definitely.
Kena Bridge of Spirits also wins Best Debut Indie Game.
Good shit, good shit. Ah, the music. So good.
Oh, it's heavy. Well, yeah, you know, it was an amazing journey to get here. Took a lot of hard work from an awesome team. A few of them are here today, but just can't say enough about the amazing people we worked with to make this game and to make the vision come true. Have to take our partners at Sony, who kind of believed in us from the very beginning, gave us a great opportunity, and all the guys at Epic who just have been there from the beginning. So thank you, everyone, and this is a great honor. Thank you.
Okay,
Awesome.
okay.
Congratulations, guys. All right, now it's time to look into the future. 2 years ago, this team announced their game on this very stage.
Oh, shit.
Now they're back with the first gameplay reveal. When I saw this, I could not believe it was actual gameplay.
Wait,
but
what?
It is captured by the team in-game this past weekend.
Hellblade?
Sit back and get ready to experience a new level of cinematic immersion.
Hellblade. Cinematic is Hellblade. For sure.
And she said,
Yep. It is. I knew it.
we will forge new stories.
We still need to play the first game.
You might see me as weak, but I will show you what lies behind my eyes.
Oh shit.
We will embrace our suffering, soothe our
Dude, this
scars
looks
of
good.
grief, and break their siege of our minds. You may see them as gods, but we will show you what lies behind their eyes.
Oh. Dude, the sound! This is gameplay?
For what you believe is your
No way.
to lead others to
What?
death brings a different kind of burden.
Holy fuck.
One that Senua would have to learn to bear.
Okay, dude. What? Monga Giga.
Can you smell their fear? He's here. Death is coming. Look at the bones. Death is coming. Look at the bones. That's going to be you. That's going to go everywhere.
What the fuck?
Killed a giant. What makes you think you can stay down?
Those whose eyes are clouded by fear are besieged by the ghosts that haunt them. Senua saw that to win the war we must break this siege. Break it with an unshakable truth. Break it with an
Ew.
impossible feat.
Get ready. It's about to start.
Get ready.
What are they hunting giants? I don't get it.
Get ready and do this. First the iron, then the fire. Yes, not yes.
Varric! Harold!
Dude, what the fuck is this? This is gameplay? Holy fuck. Dude, I'm fucking speechless right now.
It's me it wants to kill.
Jesus. Dude, the fucking visual and the audio is so fucking insane. Like, the gameplay is whatever, but holy fuck.
I know you.
He needs you.
What the fuck? Oh my god, dude. Wait, what the fuck was that?
Truly incredible. That's not a cinematic, that's gameplay, and that's why we do world premieres, because the state of our art just keeps getting better. Thanks to Ninja Theory for that incredible piece. And now, it's time for our
Holy
first of many
shit.
brand new game announcements at the Game Awards.
Oh.
I hope you're ready.
Oh. FIFA 2027. Oh, what is this? Alright, any prediction? Star Wars? Huh? Wait, what? Wait, is this KOTOR? Is this the fucking KOTOR remake? I think it is. Oh shit. This looks good, but this is a cinematic. Yoda! Oh, this is epic. They make it look so huge. Yo, what's up, Kay? You doing? Wait, is this the KOTOR remake or is it like a brand new game? I'm confused. Giga. Star Wars Eclipse. Oh my god, wait, a fucking brand new IP? Oh shit, brother. Quantic Dream! Okay.
What a way to kick off our game announcement.
That's from
Star
the people
Wars
who
Eclipse
created Detroit
will be the
Become
first
Human.
game set in the High Republic era of the Star Wars galaxy, and it is being created by Quantic Dream in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games and is currently in early development. All right, there are many more game announcements to come, trust me, as well as awards. All night we are partnering with YouTube Shorts. If you have a favorite nominee tonight that doesn't win, let us know your thoughts by posting a YouTube short with the
YouTube
hashtag
short chat,
#GotShorted, and head to
hashtag,
the YouTube Gaming Twitter handle to find
hashtag
out
GotShorted.
how to get your very own salty consolation gift. All right, right now it's time to meet our first Global Gaming Citizen, a program we started back in 2018 to turn our air over to individuals who are building
Can't watch the
positive,
stream 'cause stupid
inclusive
internet
communities
provider?
around gaming.
Oh,
We're
no.
honored to share
Unlucky
their
dude.
stories.
It's okay. Yeah, right now I don't have
grew up
the
playing games. Games
resolution.
was as a little kid, as a little gay boy, not knowing why I'm so different. Games gave me a place to feel safe and to be myself.
I can now? Okay.
Uma espécie de
Cool, cool, cool.
escape. Quando eu encontrei os jogos, quando eu comecei a jogar, eu acabei criando ali o meu espaço, sabe? Criando ali o meu mundo.
It gave me a reference to be inspired, to build up all this drag, this insane costume, all this makeup, all this hair, but feel powerful. Because as a kid, I felt weak. I felt like the outsider.
Foi daí que eu conheci o serviço de streaming e eu senti muito essa necessidade de atribuir para minha comunidade coisas que eu não via, sabe? Essa visibilidade. Eu não me enxergava nas coisas que eu assistia. Eu como uma pessoa LGBT.
Now let's run to the exit. When you find people that have similar interests, you can be yourself.
Portuguese. Oh,
so
it is.
Close. You don't have to be worried about all these things that make you different. They can be what make you special.
Facebook. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Oh Jesus. Oh shit, I think my food is here. Hold up, give me a second. Alright, chat. I'll be right back. Give me a sec. Let me get my food.
Hi folks, Pete Hines here. Yeah, we've got some stuff on sale, but let's all take a breather while we give away hundreds of free game codes. This is our small way of saying thank you for playing our games for the past 35 years. And we're just getting started. From Ghostwire to Redfall to Starfield, and much more, including stuff that hasn't even leaked yet. So if you can't imagine doing anything other than developing and publishing games with us, we have a project that can use your talents. In fact, across Bethesda and all our studios, we're hiring. So consider this your invitation to join us. There's a lot of work to be done, and we're running out of platforms to port Skyrim to. And because it's not simple to give anything away for free these days, here's a bunch of legal text.
Is the foolish dream of mortals. But this world, this Arcadia, is more dangerous than you could ever imagine. Once again, the Chaos Gates have burst open.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
The legions of Kazaros blot
What is this?
the sun. Do not give in. There is still
Huh?
one chance to end
What the
this
fuck is this?
madness. Find the Ark before
Free
all
games?
is lost.
Ooh, wait. Who? Oh, Lost Ark. This is Diablo 2. Wait, who's Pete? What am I missing?
That was a new look at Lost
What
Ark from
happened?
Amazon Games coming in February. And speaking of Amazon, we're proud to partner with Prime Gaming on the Game Awards. This month, you can level up your gaming experience with free games, including Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit, Tales of Monkey Island, and Frostpunk. There's always something new to play every month.
Oh, is it
and
Twitch
for the games
Prime?
you already own, you can unlock skins, weapons,
Subscribe
and more,
to Twitch
including
Prime.
in League of Legends, New World, Apex Legends, and Roblox. Check regularly for new drops and
Roblox?
surprises at gaming.amazon.com. Next, in the days leading into the Game Awards, I read the internet with a little bit of fear, wondering if some of tonight's big surprises might leak. This one sure didn't. It's time for a
Oh.
new game announcement that no one had on their bingo card. Enjoy.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Kojimbo? Kojimbo? Silent Hill? Silent Hill? Oh, Warner Bros.
My daughter, a new threat comes to our shores.
Oh shit, what is this?
I must call you home.
DC.
Restore
Wonder
what has
Woman.
been broken.
The game.
Unite old enemies.
Okay.
Forge new bonds. You are a hero,
Interesting.
but you can be more. You can be a leader.
Gameplay?
You
Oh damn, she's gorgeous.
are Wonder Woman.
Ah, no gameplay. Okay. No hype. No gameplay, no hype. No gameplay, no hype. Nah.
They're the actors who portrayed Ellie and Abby in The Last of Us Part 2. Please
Whoa!
welcome Ashley Johnson
Oh my
and Laura
God.
Bailey.
Every year, the Best Performance category brings surprising new faces and portrayals of wildly different characters. Tonight's nominated actors continue this tradition, once again stunning us with their extraordinary depth and dedication. Here are the nominees for Best Performance.
Chat, calm down. Calm down.
Best performance.
I've seen the truth about you. I've seen the worst parts of you.
To rebuild paradise.
Oh, he's gonna win just because he's a Giancarlo.
8 geniuses who
We'll see.
painted up a prison and named it.
I got a feeling he's just gonna win just
You
because.
escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you?
Oh, she could win as well.
Everybody chose to be here, Colt.
Yeah, it's either Giancarlo or Maggie, for sure.
And the game award for best performance goes to Maggie Robertson.
Yep. Oh my. Yeah, Kumers have a lot of power. I told you. But also, she is a pretty good character in the game. Is what makes the first.
Wow, that was the scariest walk I've
Oh
ever done in
shit,
my
the
life.
voice.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to receive this award, and it is an honor to be standing here in front of you all today.
God damn.
I would like to give a really huge thank
my
you to
God.
Capcom for creating an amazing game full of wonderfully rich and
I can only see
dynamic characters, of which
Lady
is well
Miranda.
one. And to Rosanna
hear
and
her
DJ with the
voice.
Workhouse, to Steve Knebly, our amazing cinematics director. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again because I'm a broken record. You took a chance on me when you hired me for this role, and in doing so, you have changed my life. Being a part of this game, playing this role, and becoming a member of this amazing community has changed my life. So thank you so, so much.
Dessert. Chat, stop staring. God damn it. Yeah, her name's pretty long. Oh.
We all come to a story with hopes and expectations, looking for an answer.
What is this?
Sometimes it would be better to live with that hope.
Silent Hill?
Without
No.
finding the story.
Alan Wake? Wait.
This is not the story you want it to be.
What is this? I got an Alan Wake Silent Hill vibe.
Will eat you alive.
Oh!
This story is a monster.
Okay, I thought it was a gameplay. Fuck.
Monsters wear many faces.
Oh, Jesus fucking.
Gotcha! All right,
Holy
I'm joined
shit.
by my
Okay,
man,
that is
Sam
so
Lake.
good.
Sam, thank you coming all the way over from Finland for this. This is so exciting.
Oh my God.
Alan Wake 2. It's been a decade. Fans have been asking you for it. Why is now the right time to bring him back?
Well, Jeff, first of all, I want to say apologies. It's been raining here in Los Angeles today. It's on us.
I was
Like
gonna say.
fiction leaking out into reality. So sorry. Anyway,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
10 years, over 10 years. Wanting to make this, dreaming of making it, we've been iterating on the concept, and we know fans have been asking for it. We've been a bit protective. We knew this is going to be a pretty scary experience.
I was
But
gonna say-
now we are convinced everybody is ready. You are ready.
What kind of game are we going to get for the sequel? Can you tell us something about it?
Yeah, we are breaking new ground here. This is going to be Remedy's first ever survival horror game.
Ooh.
Our take on the genre.
Yeah.
The first game had horror elements to it,
But
it
it's not a
was an action
survival.
game.
Yeah.
And we feel that this is the perfect genre to bring
Ooh.
together the story and gameplay closer than ever before. Because the story, horror story, is at the very heart of this, and it's psychological, layered, deep mystery. to
cannot
dive
wait.
into.
Yeah, Sam Blake.
You know, you
is a
are
legend.
such an incredible visionary. I can't wait to see what you're doing with this game. I know you said to me a while ago this was your dream project, and I'm so honored that we got to announce this here at the
Oh
Game
my
Awards.
God,
So
that's
we're gonna
such a
hear
good
more
trailer.
Next year, I think, right?
Yes, we, fitting to the theme, we're gonna go dark for a while to work on this. We'll be back next year, summertime, to show more.
All right, summer 2022, more on Alan Wake 2. Sam, thank you so much for that announcement.
you.
Very exciting. All right, well, now I'd like to welcome a comedian, writer, and a
that
well-known
was such a
chili
good
dog
trailer.
enthusiast. It's Ben Schwartz.
That's such a good trailer. Holy shit. Comedian.
How is everybody tonight? How is everybody tonight? Let me know that voice. How is everybody tonight? Everybody, my name is Ben Schwartz. I played the voice
Reggie.
of Sonic the Hedgehog in the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you very much. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for supporting our movie. Also, thank you very much for the note about Sonic's legs and teeth in our original trailer. That note, for real, that's a good note. That's a good note. I'm really happy that worked out. We needed that. We really needed that. The good news is, so many of you loved our first movie that we got to make a sequel. And today, yes, video game movies, come on. Yes.
Actually, a good one.
Sure. 2 other people at the end. Today, I brought with me the trailer to that sequel. Yeah.
Oh, the CD.
I mean, this isn't like the real trailer. This is a blank DVD for effect. If this was the real trailer, I feel like we'd be screwed because there's no computer with a DVD drive anymore, so this would be like troublesome. Anyway, I can't tell you how excited we all are about Sonic 2. So many incredible people are in this movie. We got James Marsden, Tika Sumpter, Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails, Idris Elba as Knuckles, and of course the legend Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik.
Hell yeah.
Now Jim has actually sent a very special video over to say hello to all of you, and you guys are in luck because I have the video with me right here. Oh, a callback. I'm happy. Just kidding. This is blank still. Let's roll the video of Jim. What do you say?
Funny.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Ben.
Oh my God, I missed this
I'm sorry
guy.
I couldn't be there with you, but I look forward to meeting all of your avatars in the metaverse, where we can really get to know each other. Hey, before you see this exciting new Sonic trailer, I'd like to pass on a word of advice that my Scottish grandfather gave to me when I was just a boy. He said, son, don't grate it in the grinder. Don't do it, son. Don't grate it in the grinder, boy. Grate it, by all means, grate it till the cows come home. But don't grate it in the grinder. And then to drive the point home, he put his hands around my neck and he squeezed real hard and he said, don't do it, son! Don't grate it in the grinder! Are you listening to me, boy? Are you listening?
Wow. Yeah. Inspiring words. Thank you, Jim. You know, I think we all needed to hear that. Yeah, take it in if you need to. Good? Great. Okay, here we go. Thank you again for continuing to support the Blue Blur, and it is my honor to present to you the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Enjoy.
Dude, we still need to watch the fucking first one. Fuck. Movie night.
Quick stretch, little snack, and here we go.
Sonic, I love that you want to help make a difference.
Mind if I drive?
But you're being reckless.
Don't worry, nobody's gonna get hurt.
Pretending to be Batman.
Blue Justice, trademark pending.
You're still just a kid. Trust me, there will come a moment when your powers will be needed. But you don't choose that moment. That moment chooses you.
I just got goosebumps. Wait a second, did you steal that from Oprah?
Papa's got a brand new stash. Since I've been gone, I've discovered the source of ultimate power.
The gemstone.
That sounds big. It's been on my vision board for years.
Tails!
Not too late.
Oh my God, the OG!
Name's Tails.
The OG voice
This is what
actor.
we're gonna do. Step 1, light taunting. Step 2, I have no idea.
Dude, that brings back.
That wasn't too bad. Today's forecast calls for a 100% chance of adventure. Return to sender. Face it, you're never going to get my power.
Oh shit, Knuckles.
Do I look like I need your power?
Damn, he sounds badass.
Where are my manners? Sonic, meet Knuckles.
Oh, they got the tails on the two. That's sick.
So fun. All right. Next, one of your nominees tonight for most anticipated
Show me
game is
that.
Yes from Guerrilla Games. The team is hard at work back home in Amsterdam, finishing it up for a February release. But I'm grateful.
Why do you have to bring that back?
This for the fans.
The VR chat people's gonna be pissed. Oh my god. Do you know the way? Oh, Horizon. You are our queen now.
The land is dying.
Spit on them.
And the machines are out of
I'm
control.
sorry. Hey, I'm just saying, chat. If not because of the Knuckles meme, I probably, you know, would never get interested to download VR chat, alright? I'm just saying. It's one of the things that actually introduced me to VR chat. Or, I guess, more. This game looks beautiful. Trailer stutters? The fuck?
Whatever comes, I will be ready.
Yeah, the trailer's stuttering. Hot eyes on. Oh Jesus. Full orchestra. Ooh, it's a pretty flute. Where's your Rebel Pass where you listen to Linkin Park and shit? We don't talk about it. Dude, flute is such a pretty sound. I like it. I never really learned any air instrument. But then again, it's so hard to learn air instrument in like your living space because it's so fucking loud. If I learn flute in my apartment, my fucking neighbor's gonna knock on my door every day. Good shit, bro. Good shit. Super People's on maintenance. Hey, it is what it is.
Wow, Game Awards Orchestra, thank you so much. I am so ready for this game. Thank you so much
More
to Lauren and the
games.
orchestra.
Don't worry,
and
don't
her
worry.
First ever performance and trip to the United States, the beautiful Julie Elvin. Thank you so much, Julie.
Aww.
Well, speaking of music, last week you probably saw everyone posting their Spotify Wrapped on social media. My top artists of 2021, Rufus Du Sol,
What
Sam
the
Fender, and
fuck?
Dayglow. You can make your Spotify Wrapped now in the app and stick around as we
Dude, my
reveal for the
Spotify,
first time
my Spotify Wrapped
most
so
listened to
fucked
Spotify
because
artists
you
and
guys
songs
chat.
on gaming
It's just
console
filled with background
2021.
music.
Also on the music front, some of the music we've been playing tonight
Because
is from
fucking
Sessions
Twitch,
Diana.
every
Sessions
time
is
I
Riot
stream,
Games project
it's
with
just a
music
bunch of
made to be
fucking
safe to
background
stream without
music.
fears of copyright issues. Check out sessions.riotgames.com
God damn it.
to download the full album. And now
Holy
it's
shit.
time for a special and long-awaited announcement.
Yeah, yeah, it's your fault.
Let us defy destiny.
Oh shit.
Plate number 7.
Wait, what is this here?
What the?
I guess it's just a trailer.
This will be a memory to cherish for the rest of your lives.
deserve what's coming to him.
God damn, dude, the fucking trailers.
Your sister.
I mean, the visual.
Let the hunt begin.
Surrender to the darkness. Embrace it.
This is just wrong.
PC. I kind of want to play it. I think we can give it a try. What?
Xbox Game Pass for PC.
2021 Game Awards, Xbox Game Pass for PC,
Okay.
and you too. What do we think?
You know, it's so effortful.
I like that we animated.
You're welcome.
Okay, I understand the impulse to do something big, but what do PC gamers actually want?
True.
They love brand new PC games.
We have some great ones coming day one.
Okay.
Some of them haven't even been announced yet.
Okay, great. Marketing idea. What if Gata tweets out this list, more or less leaking it in a cool, hip way? I'll retweet it because I have so many more followers than him.
It's done.
What's done?
Tweet it. It's out there.
No, you didn't. I don't think you should have done that.
Proactivity ain't a crime, man.
We'll figure it might be.
When people think about Xbox Game Pass, they think about console. They don't know we're a PC gaming service.
Why not just call it PC Game Pass?
That's a great idea. Really good.
Okay, we're going with that.
Just like that,
Okay.
you're gonna change the name of the whole thing because of Gata, who calls himself Gata.
It's a good name. All we gotta do is add some top tier streamers to this to really land it.
Gata, yes. What about 100 Thieves?
Big fans.
Oh my god.
Where are the other 97?
I get it. That's thank you, man. We'll take it from here, brother. We got cameos, we got ideas percolating, right? Next steps to me, or just talking about like how we bill you.
Wait, hold on. Are we really gonna make an ad for the Game Awards and you're not gonna rap in it at all?
I mean, if I could get away with that.
Game Pass has PC games. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we are at the TGAs. Guess that's kind of like saying we're at the Game Awards. Yeah.
Oh! Oh, go ahead, chat. Go crazy. There you go. That's some Xbox Game Pass shit. Good luck. Go crazy. Dude, I'm gonna say, Xbox Game Pass has been really worth it. I've been sub for it for a few months now. And the new games that you get from them has been really fucking good. It's actually pretty good. Although, yeah, the price, it's not the cheapest, you know, for monthly, but you get what you pay for, I guess. I haven't gonna move my ass on.
Hello Game Awards, my name is Martin Foss Anderson, aka Mr. Savage. It's really bad if you're stressed before you're
Truth is still making ads?
If I was stressed after school, I just wouldn't be able to focus properly and it would just make everything 10 times harder. Together with Truth, I have an important message. Vaping nicotine can increase anxiety symptoms and stress levels. I think it's really important people know the truth about vaping nicotine.
The best gaming service ever made it is really good, really now. I mean, whoa, what is this? The lo-fi, okay, okay. I dig this. Hello. Session creator safe music from Riot. Hello. That was nice.
Now, please welcome actor Simu Liu.
Sessions Diana added.
Simu Liu, I love you. Oh my god.
I still haven't watched the movie.
Oh, hey guys, what's up?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm here to present the Game Award for Best Action, I guess. And oh shoot, that's so sick. Sorry. So you know, as a martial arts superhero myself, I know a little thing or two about action and oh snap, with the plasma sword. Sorry. Where was I? The prompter, right? Action is the best when it's
Mike.
and fast
Thank you.
paced and totally organic to the no, you did not, Master Chief.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. Look, you guys know that Halo just came out, right?
True.
And it's literally sitting in my living room while I gotta be here. So instead of actually playing Halo, I'm on stage presenting the Game Award for Best Action while watching streamers on Twitch. Seemed like a pretty reasonable compromise. Anyway, here are the nominees.
Best action game.
That is just an Hollywood actor, okay? That's what they do, okay? I forgot who did I vote for this. I think Back 4 Blood.
Is won by the feared. Things have changed. Everything has changed.
Sorry. And the Game Award for Best Action Game goes to Returnal.
Ooh, okay. The PS4 exclusive wins? It's actually impressive. I haven't played it because I don't have a PS4, so I mean PS5, sorry. So yeah, I have no. I guess it's a good game. Good for them.
Wow, thank you. We are so happy to be here to accept the award for everyone who worked on Returnal. When I first joined Housemarque, I could tell Returnal was a really special game, and it was our amazing team that pulled it off and brought you the game that you played today. Thank you to the amazing team at Housemarque in Helsinki, Finland, our incredible co-dev partners who helped us build Returnal, our amazing partners at XDev, represented by Pedro, and everyone at PlayStation. We're so grateful we could build a game like Returnal. But biggest thanks, obviously, has to go to the players. Thank you for playing.
Hey, calm down, Chet, calm
down.
down.
For supporting Returnal.
Sony have to make money in some way with this exclusive, right? Exclusive. Reality is exclusive sells the consoles. That's it. That's just it. I know it sucks. I don't like it either, but hey. Perfectly balanced. It is what it is. Okay, let me change it for consoles.
It can't be. It is.
What is this?
Start at the beginning.
Destiny?
We landed on Mars.
Yeah, Destiny.
Like we were in a dream.
This game fell down so fucking hard. It started so good. It started so good.
We wanted to find her.
It's kind of sad.
But she was dangerous.
I love the game a lot, especially the gameplay. It's really around my alley, but the fucking progression is just so bad. Sadly.
What happened next?
It makes me think what would happen if Bungie didn't do an MMO and just make like, you know, single player story. Or like, you know, a Halo-esque game. Like a single player campaign with some multiplayer stuff. I feel like that would be better rather than an MMO game like this. Well, not an MMO, but you know what I mean. Like a game as a service shit. I'm not a big fan of it.
It refused to die.
Surprisingly though, even though like not a lot of people talk about it, the community are very loyal to it. Like people who actually play the game, like keep playing the game. So they got a very loyal player base.
Savathun's illusions can fool the senses.
No. I know what I saw. This is real.
The game is good, but they don't have the team to do something like Forsaken again.
We can start.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know much about game as a service. That's the problem. Like, game as a service in general, I'm not a big fan in the first place, so you know. Like, just keep making games rather than just updating the same game for years. If you're gonna make like a strong story sequels,
Destiny 2: The Witch Queen, that is coming out in February. Everything you saw there is actually from the first mission of
at least that's
the game,
my
which is so cool.
my
And
take on it.
Bungie is celebrating their 30th anniversary this year, so congratulations to Bungie. And there's a lot of great stuff happening in Destiny 2 right now to celebrate 30 years of Bungie. All right, now it is time to get to another new game announcement. A few months ago, a Japanese game creator reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to announce my next game at the Game Awards," and I'm so honored to have this opportunity to present this global announcement to all of you. Please enjoy.
What's this? What's this? Oh my god! Oh, please, Kojima, please. Oh, it's not Kojima. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Give me Silent Hill, please. Yes. I don't know who the fuck Bokeh is. Oh my god. Keiichiro Toyama? Is this the same Silent Hill director? Whoa, my god, Jesus. Oh god. Okay. What is this music? Jesus Christ. What the okay, I don't think this is Silent Hill. I think it's just from the director of Silent Hill. Yeah, it's a new IP. Slitterhead. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm down. The music's fucking sick. I like it. And they got the creepiness of Silent Hill. I'm down. They nailed it. Slitterhead.
That's a fun one. It's clear Toyama-san has not abandoned his roots. Thank you again for that very special announcement. Speaking of just that, we have another brand new game to announce from a studio that has many industry veterans. Check this out.
Okay, okay. Pre-alpha game engine. Ooh, Victorian era. Creepy vibe. Jesus. What the fuck is this? Shithead. Slitterhead. Shithead. That's what I say. It's not the game.
Lost and alone in the dangerous labyrinth.
This is interesting.
Fantastical worlds. Welcome to the lands of Fae.
That's really interesting.
Is a chance for salvation. Uniting the lost survivors.
Oh, it's a survival. There's some house building,
Or leading us deeper into this nightmare.
crafting and shit. What is going on? It's... What the fuck?
Nightingale, our beacon of hope. But beyond our reach,
Minecraft 3?
as long as we stand together,
Yeah, it's some kind of an MMO survival
unite us.
with a Victorian era style. It's very weird. I like it.
The Realm Walkers are all that is left.
Like, it's very uncommon. Nightingale. Inflection Games. Never heard. But I'm down. I would like to see more. That looks interesting.
Love brand new IP, and joining me now is Aaron Flynn from Inflection Games. Aaron, you were on stage at the first Game Awards in 2014, accepting Game of the Year for Dragon Age, and now you've got a new studio, Inflection, up in Canada. What kind of game do we get here with Nightingale?
Oh, well, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, so it's a survival crafting game, shared world ideas, so we want to bring players together, solo experiences, cooperative experiences, lots of ability to go and explore these amazing, fantastical, magical realms. We're going to give players lots of ability to come together, cooperate, lots of opportunity for community building, that sort of thing.
Well, it looks incredible. I love that. You showed me this game a while ago. I was like, this looks so cool. We have to show this.
No, they have not shown any Elix 2 or Saints Row. To be fair, Elix 2 already announced
next year on PC only,
in Gamescom.
And, looking forward to inviting players in. If you want to see more, playnightingale.com.
Amazing. All right, well,
I feel like it's too soon if they do another showcase.
We've got much more coming up, but we're also going to introduce you to our Game Awards second annual Future Class, a group of 50 individuals who represent the bright, bold, and inclusive future of our industry. You can see the full list at thegameawards.com tonight. We're also partnering with Google Play to have our Future Class mentor the next generation of women in gaming. Google Play's Change the Game aims to improve female representation in gaming.
It's an epic
For the next
game
12
then.
months, a selected group of teenagers will receive hands-on guidance from last year's Future Class as mentors. Right now, meet one of the new members of our Future Class.
Yeah, the Nightingale name, the name is just very, you know.
Oh, they gotta hate me right now, and I love it. My focus is primarily joy.
It's too common.
Everybody has the potential to be cynical about everything.
This game sucks. I hate it. I hate everything it ever.
It's easy to do that. It's much more enjoyable to find the good.
Inflection.
A lot of that started when I was in the military.
Yeah, I cannot find it
Finding out
either.
People shot rockets at your plane. It's a reminder that nothing is promised. Do you want to look back on your life into negativity or focus on the good?
Hello world, I'm Miroslav Beck from Beat Games, and I'm thrilled to announce our new Music Pack collaboration. Lady Gaga Music Pack launches on Beat Saber tonight.
Oh, don't mention Beat Saber, dude. My arm's still sore from last Beat Saber stream. It's actually still sore. Oh my god. Lesson learned, chat. If you never played the fucking game, it's basically like exercising. And you don't want to go ham on the first fucking day. It hurts. It hurts. It's fun though. I actually enjoyed it. Is that me? Okay. Especially if you haven't exercised for so long, like me. Oh shit! The Smeagol game. Golem. Why did I say Smeagol?
Nasty, filthy oxes. Kill them. No, we must hide.
The art style is very different. Interesting. How much you can milk Lord of the Rings? To be fair though, I am actually kind of interested with this one, since you know, you're gonna play as a Golem, dude. Like,
Hi Game Awards, it's Ms.
That's
Beck.
new.
Final Fantasy XIV just released its latest expansion, Endwalker. To celebrate, they're partnering with Grubhub on something really cool. Check out this piece I did with them and enjoy the rest of your show. All right, everyone, let's focus up. It's time to raid.
wow.
All right, this is the top Get ready to stack. Yes, we got it.
Woo! Pizza party! Seriously, where did you get the pizza?
Now when you order with Grubhub using code
Wow,
NDelivery,
Grubhub.
delivery and unlock an exclusive pizza emote in Final Fantasy XIV.
That's so beautiful. I'm crying on my pepperoni.
We've all been there.
Wow. Oh, PUBG. Damn, they're still doing it. The original Battle Royale. Okay, dude. I'm actually surprised they survived this long. It's actually impressive. I don't like the game anymore. It used to be one of my favorite games, but yeah. It's just there's just so much more better Battle Royale at the time. And especially Apex. Apex replaces PUBG for me as like the better Battle Royale.
What's up, everybody? I am Eric.
Wait, was that the PUBG Mobile? Are you fucking kidding me?
Afterwards, come join us for the Game Awards watch
Jesus.
party on Nate Hill's Twitch channel. I'll see you soon.
Tutorial girl.
Back in the summer of 2019,
Oh, it's
I visited
not?
this,
Is it a
first-time
sequel?
developer at
What
his
the fuck
studio
was
in the
that?
United Kingdom. He told me his dream was to one day share his game with the
Oh,
world at
they're
the Game
turning
Awards.
free to
Well,
play.
That
Okay,
dream is
I
about
get
to
it.
come true. Enjoy.
Ooh, sick art style. I like it. Minimalistic. Usually got a very good vibe. Oh, we saw this. We saw this 2 days ago. I showed it to you guys. Like, this shit's gonna be sick. From the devs of Thingathing. Inside. I forget the name of the game. Oh, give us some release date, dude. I really want to play this game. Has dogs in it, which is gonna be extra sad. Dude, it looks so epic. I love it. Somerville. Release date? Yes? Come on. Oh, come on.
I cannot wait to play Somerville. Thanks to Chris Olsen and the team at Jump Ship for that one. Next, we're going to head to the stage for a very special performance from a much-loved game studio.
Asbestos. No idea who. What is this? Oh, Cuphead. Damn.
As a team, adventuring to help make Chalice free. It's a delicious last course of the delicious last course. One can eat their fill and still stay until the delicious last course. It's a delicious last course of that delicious last course. There's tarts, cakes, and pies, a dozen scones, oh my, for that delicious last course. Oh, Miss Chalice just wants to be just as real can be.
LARPing
With
full
a
out.
wonder tart, she could then take heart. It's off to the bakery. Chef's hot baker is a plan, the best tart maker in the land.
Dance, chat, dance.
With the ingredients, then
Ooh.
you would just lend a hand. With that delicious last course, oh, the delicious last course. It's If there's a single meal to help me chalice ring, there's a delicious last course. Oh, the delicious last course. Oh, the delicious last course. Searching a la carte to pick the one at a time for the delicious last course. Easy recipes to get necessities for the delicious last course. With a wink and a song, as long as nothing goes wrong.
Ooh.
With a delicious last course. Yeah.
Not bad. That was nice. Oh wait. Oh, DLC.
Looks like it's bon voyage to our old pals Cuphead, Bugman, and the lovely Miss Chalice. They're off on their next adventure, this time to the fabled DLC Island.
DLC Island.
In this enchanted land.
Good
What
one.
better way to explore the island than with a leisurely climb into
sorry.
the mountains? Just remember to watch your step.
Oh wait, you guys. Oh, I think we're good.
Or perhaps the icy
Okay, no,
tundra
we're
is
good.
more to your liking. Don't forget to bring your mittens. Look out for a walloping winter whale. Next stop, the dramatic Western Plains under the watchful eye of Sheriff Winchester. Yee-haw!
Yeehaw.
But what's this? Why, it's Chef Saltbaker with his famous cookies. He's the best baker in the land.
This is a sick trailer.
Cookies are sure to put some pep in your step. Oh! And you'll need it. For there's a new challenge waiting around every corner on the amazing
Damn.
DLC Island.
Cool. Okay. It's actually pretty good. Ah, DLC. Delicious Last Course.
We have a date, June 30th, 2022. So exciting, the delicious last course. All right, next up, earlier you saw the trailer for Sonic 2, the movie, and now it's time for the little blue guy to give you a glimpse at his next game, also coming in 2022.
Oh, is it the fucking game that got teased on the Gamescom? Oh yeah, it is. Alright, show us gameplay. Come on. Last time we saw this is literally just a teaser. Oh, a brand new 3D game. Interesting. Open world Sonic. This could be fun, but it's also could be not fun. It kind of depends. Give us gameplay, come on. Okay, alright, fine. No gameplay. We'll chill.
TGA の皆さんこんにちは。
お、コジンボ！
小島秀夫です。今年もですね TGA に参加できなくてごめんなさい。来年は必ず出席させていただきます。僕の戦友であります、ギレルモ・デルトロ監督の最新作ナイトメアレイをご紹介します。
Aww,
どうぞ。
that's sweet.
I got a little job for you. It's just temporary.
He announces Guillermo fucking movie.
Never mind who you are, or what you done.
Willem Dafoe.
Everything's gotta be new these days. Sensational.
Let
Let the mirrors show you who you are.
What's your pitch, pal? You on the level?
What's the actor name again? I forgot.
I can read them mark quick. Find out what they want.
Looks very different.
Folks will pay good money just to make themselves feel better. When a man believes his own lies, and people get hurt.
What the fuck was that kiss?
You lie. You try to find your way out. I warned you, didn't I?
Oh, Ron Perlman.
There is no way out.
Okay.
Wow.
Ooh, the man himself.
That's trending. Now, on to awards business. I am honored to be announcing the Best Art Direction category. These nominees, across a broad variety of budgets and genres, each found their own path to combining visual design, music, and animation into their
Guillermo
own
movies are
distinct
always
expression
interesting.
of intent and purpose. You know, one franchise I love the art direction in, Silent Hill. I hope we get a new one of those. Anyhow.
Okay, dude, don't do that, dude. Did he just do that? Did he just do that? Okay. Bro, don't do that. Don't do that. That's not good for my heart. Holy shit. I swear. If Kojima came back next year with a fucking Silent Hill game.
And the Game Award for Best Art Direction goes to Deathloop.
Okay. I thought Ratchet would win. Not gonna lie. I'm not sure why Deathloop, but okay.
It's super weird because last night I made the bet that Guillermo del Toro will be giving this award, so this is awkward. I will stick.
We all know TGA is rigged.
So thank you, Guillermo, wherever you are.
It is what it is.
Thanks to the Game Awards. I now have a flashback of when I was studying the 60s era by watching his movie, The Shape of Water, scrutinizing the sets, the colors, the lighting. So thanks for your indirect participation, Guillermo. Also, thank you for rewarding our risk-taking, our passion for visual expression, our level of craftsmanship, and our attention to details that our players seem to really appreciate, isn't it? Tonight, I'm proud, ladies and gentlemen, and I think the guys across the ocean at Arkane are really proud too. Thanks to them for this fucking cool adventure. Thanks to my long-time art buddies, Damien and Jean-Luc. Dinga Bakaba, well, thanks you, bro. We did it.
S'il vous plaît.
Thanks to the great people at Bethesda, Sony, and Microsoft. A big hug for our families and friends. And lastly, I'd like to dedicate this award to the boss, Robert Altman. Peace, amour, and French fries. Yes, I lost a bet last night also.
Be Oog. Be Oog. Big Oog. Big Oog.
Congratulations to all the winners so far, and right now we are excited to announce additional winners tonight. In the 100% fan-voted Player's Voice category, here are the final 5 nominees, as voted on by fans. And the Game Award goes to Halo Infinite.
Nice.
For Best RPG, the nominees are... And the Game Award goes to...
Shin Megami?
Tales of Arise.
Tales, okay. Deserve.
For Best Score and Music, those nominees are... And the Game Award goes to... Nier Replicant.
True! Deserve. 100% deserve.
Creator of the Year. But first, let's hear from fans and creators themselves on who they want to win.
Dude, Nier is such a good fucking music.
Dream to win. Good luck, Dream.
It's all about the beard, people. You gotta vote for Evi.
Hi, my name is Emily. I would like to nominate Beasley for Creator of the Year.
Okay, who's your creator of the year, chat?
Well, let's see who was right. Here are the nominees for Content Creator of the Year. And the Game Award goes to Dream. Congratulations, Dream. Of course, not here in person. Here are the nominees for Best Multiplayer Game. And the Game Award goes to It Takes Two.
Oh my god. Of course.
You did it.
Hey, the man himself.
Congrats. Now to present the best mobile game.
Such a
Please
wholesome
welcome
guy.
WNBA player and Team Liquid streamer, Ariel Powers.
Thanks, Jeff. Here are the nominees for Best Mobile Game presented by Verizon.
Fucking Verizon,
And
dude.
the Game Award
I swear to
goes
God.
to Genshin Impact. Stay right here. We've got more Game
Okay,
Awards
I mean-
coming up after this.
Wow, I'm surprised. No shit, it's gonna win.
This is Khalid Adams here.
See, she said Genshin.
Podcast spotlighting people of color in the video game industry.
I think when you have those really seminal moments within culture and within the world where you see something that throws you, you know, you just don't know what to do. You feel confused, you feel upset, you feel hurt. But the thing that I can do and put out into the world is a show. I know that things right now are very, very difficult. I know that things are all over the place in lots of different ways.
It's scary, man. I mean, that's just, there's no other way to put it. It is scary to be black in this country today.
I'm a black mom, so I'm scared. A lot of people in gaming communities just don't want to hear it.
We sat down for about 2 hours or so, just kind of ran through our feelings and emotions.
Because it's all, I don't want to bring politics. Well, I'm fucking glad that you can ignore this shit because it's quote unquote politics when this is a lot of people's reality.
So the show goes up, it launches. So I would see all these
Spawn
tweets.
on
Hey,
me?
you need to listen to this. Hey, you need to check this out. Hey, you need to be paying attention to this. And then one of the big outlets caught it. And then it just moved.
Let's just speak the 100% truth. It is not.
You know, I'd always wanted to use my voice in a way that felt powerful. Really bring home the conversation about doing a show through a prism of blackness. I think we did the job in a really good way. And I think the world and the industry was better for it.
Hey, I mean, I also don't really interested in politics, but hey, power to them. You know? I didn't even know that show existed. So you know that's exclusively for politics. PUBG Mobile. Oh my god. I am gonna play this on my Samsung Galaxy Tab. Chicken dinner. This is such a shitty trailer, holy shit. Whoa, what the fuck? Okay, it's such a shitty trailer. I have no idea what's going on.
I can play all my favorite games straight from the cloud.
That's right. I can play on my Fire TV, tablet, and phone. Yo, Brandon, what's that game you keep talking about?
Which one? The lineup looks awesome. Yakuza Like a Dragon, Devil May Cry 5, Judgment, Rainbow Six Extraction.
Among Us?
Without waiting for long downloads.
There are so many
Among
great
Us.
games. Luna Couch, anyone?
I'm in. Feels like I'm on your couch.
Let's go.
Let's go. How leak is there? What is happening? I have no idea. I mean, I don't think it's the leak one. I think it's just Arcane. Right? Just promoting Arcane like crazy.
Drowns in corruption. Your empire is
What is this?
aflame with heresy. The faithful perish, and the wicked multiply.
Vermintide?
Blessed Sigma, lend me your strength. Grant me the will to purge the corrupt, to smite the heretic, to bring hope when hope is lost.
One thing that I really love about the Warhammer games, even though sometimes I just don't like the gameplay, is that they are very immersive with the characters and the universe. Like Vermintide, I really love the vibe to it. The characters, the voice acting, the design, it's just so good. It's so immersive. I love it.
Finished praying, have you? Where is your patience, Master Dwarf? Have I ever let you down?
God damn.
Victory favors the faithful. Let us teach them fear. For Sigma and the Empire!
Jesus. Okay, that's a sick one. That is sick, that is sick.
She's an actor who stars in The Mandalorian and the upcoming series The Book of Boba Fett. Please welcome Ming-Na Wen.
A gaming narrative is more than a collection of cutscenes. It represents our own involvement with the story and its characters. To be nominated for the Best Narrative Award, a great game demands provocative dialogue and a captivating plot. But above all, it must exhibit a meaningful involvement with the audience. And also, just speaking as the mother of a son who loves gaming, it's nice when there's more to the story than just blowing up grenade factories and shouting obscenities at your alligator brides.
She got a really cool voice.
Best narrative.
Goddamn.
Best narrative.
Every loop I'm learning a little more, piecing together the puzzle.
It was a spell, I am telling you.
If it is a spell, how do we break it?
I need to find out exactly what happened.
Best narrative.
I can reveal their secrets.
You have proven yourselves
Guardian
and you must be
of the Galaxy.
My name is Raz, and today
I have no idea who's gonna win on this one. I mean, It Takes Two is a good one, but I don't think it's gonna
And
win.
the game award for Best Narrative goes to Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hey. I haven't played it. No idea. Literally the nomination. I only played the fucking. What is that game? It Takes Two.
Okay, that was a surprise.
Chill, chat, chill.
Many people responsible for making this.
I heard this is actually a good game. I get it, it's Marvel, it's boring, but hey.
And for allowing us to make them our
At least it's not Deathloop, alright? At least it's not Deathloop.
That words on a page can never do. For Olivier, our producer, Hubert, JF, my game director, the entire crew who worked
If
on
Deathloop wins another award, I'm
wild,
done.
wacky,
I'm fucking done.
immensely talented writers. Thank you for making comedy look easy. Thank you for not complaining too often when I pushed you to remember our main themes of grief and to go deeper. Who am I kidding? I know you complained, but thank you for not doing it to me. Thank you, everyone. This is an honor.
It Takes Two deserve it way more than this? I don't know. I played It Takes Two, it's a good one, but I don't think it's the best narrative game. It's a good multiplayer game to play with your friends or significant other, I suppose, but narrative is alright. Because this is the type of game like, you know, very family friendly, it's wholesome kind of stuff. What is this? Okay, I don't think Lantern explodes like that. Alright, Red, you gotta buy Guardians now. I'm good. Don't worry, it's on my wish list, but I'm still not in the mood to play it. Alright? This is a very interesting game. What the fuck is going on? Chia, a game inspired by New Caledonia. Aww, so cute. I get it. Marvel stuff is boring, but I do have to say, Guardian of the Galaxy is one of the few that I actually like. Oh! Gameplay. Oh. Oh shit.
Kaylee, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Oh shit.
Huh? That footage is strictly classified.
Oh shit. Oh shit, okay.
My name is Director Amanda Waller. And since the Game Awards doesn't care about disclosing classified intel, listen up.
Oh shit.
Whatever you've heard about Task Force X, the state of the Justice League, or Superman rampaging through the streets of Metropolis, you better not say a word ever to anyone. Because if you do, I'll hear about it.
Okay.
You've all been warned. Waller out.
God damn, okay.
She gone? She's gone. Good. All right. Well, I think we've waited long enough to see Rocksteady's new game. This is going to be worth the risk. You guys want to do it?
PC and Epic Games, they don't even put PC.
Watch this together.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
I think of Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern.
Rocksteady, dude.
Mess with that lot. But you, Barry, you're just the team mascot, aren't you, mate? The loser of the league, folks. The fastest man alive. It's the Flacker.
Oh shit.
Flash is alive, and he's playing for Team Brainiac.
I gave you orders. Kill the Flash, or I'll kill you myself. Cool.
Nothing can stop me.
Oh. We got some gameplays.
Did you get him? Really? Why don't you just mail me the bullet? I'm the eye in the sky. Taking point for you, Shark.
Pulverize.
Is this gonna be a co-op game? I'm kind of not sure. How's this gonna go?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. Ooh. I love that. Yeah, prick.
Really thought Flasher had us that
Last game they made had a decent graphics. The gameplay looked boring. Which one?
And Pollyanna McIntosh.
The fucking.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here, Mother. You may have met the character I portray in Forspoken, Frey Holland. I am so excited to be here to announce
this
a
game.
brand new trailer, and especially delighted tonight as we will be seeing Pollyanna's first portrayal of Tanta Prav for the very first time.
She is a ruthless adversary for Frey, and I hope players get into it, looking for a boss fight with this woman at some point.
I definitely hope that you're in a boss fight.
Thank you, Ella. That's so kind. Even if it is with Frey?
Especially if it's with Frey. And now, a world premiere trailer for Forspoken.
World premiere. All right, let's see what this is.
Who are you, child? My name is Frey Holland. I do not know how I got here, and all I want is to go home.
She is hell's spawn. How else did she survive in the corruption?
The people are afraid. They look to me in the council for hope that we cannot give them. But maybe you can.
Wherever I go turns to shit. It's always been this way. Athia's all but lost.
Everything that corruption touches.
It breaks. Yeah, I saw it up close.
It is you who trespassed on my land. You who set this battle.
This game has such a interesting gameplay. It's like a Final Fantasy-esque, but not really. Frame rate though.
How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Lies! She dies!
Jesus. Forspoken. Yeah, I have no comment on this game. It's very random for me. I'll just wait for a review. It's too random. It's showing what gameplay would be like on your PC. Okay, dude! Oh shit, focus. Oh, another Warhammer. God damn, dude. Warhammer's universe is so good.
Company command! This is first platoon! We've lost the square! We can't hold it!
God damn. Space Marine! Fuck yeah. Oh, those chainsaw. This is not gameplay though, chat, okay? So calm down. No gameplay, no hype. Jesus. Dude, they're not joking with the gore. Delicious. God damn. Oh, it is a sequel! Holy shit! Oh, gameplay! Oh my god! Let's go!
Joining me now is Tim Willits from Saber and the star of the game who will play Captain Titus, Clive Standen. Tim, what did we just see?
Well, I'm just so excited I can finally talk about this game. You know, we are making Space Marine 2, a sequel to the iconic, you know, Warhammer 40K game. You know, and at Saber, you know, we're using the experience that we have learned from games like Halo, Quake Champions, World War Z to really bring this game to life, to make it the most intense action game ever. And we've got Clive as a Space
that gives
Marine.
me
It's awesome.
flashback for
Clive,
the first
how's it
game.
feel to be in the game?
Oh, it's a dream, a pretty bleak and grim dream, but anyone who's ever seen any of the work I've done, I'm not sure
Middle, yeah, Tim's a small guy.
No, I'm stoked and grateful to be a part of this. I used to play with and paint the Space Marines when I was a kid with my older brother, so the chance to play one of the most iconic characters in the Warhammer 40K universe is everything to me. So
It fits you. Looks good. So
Yeah.
we're excited to see more of the game, and awesome for you guys to show the gameplay. Tim, Clive, thank you so much for joining us. And right now, here's a brand new look at Saints Row.
Oh, Saints Flow, Saints Row. It's your game. Now this is the moment where Saints would type in all caps in the chat. Oh Jesus fucking Christ. Hey. Okay. Hey.
Who messes with the Saints? We're really good at what we do.
They really portray their game as like a very sandboxy action. Stay true to the Saints Row series.
Next step is to find people that can shoot guns.
Wait, Saints, is it confirmed that you can customize a character? Yes, okay. Oh yeah, there it is. It's just that they really like to stick with this character that they announced with. Okay. Team Burton, Nightmare Before what? Oh, it's Fall Guys. Whee! This game is so fun. Woo! Skins. I kind of want to go back to this game. There's been so much update since the last time we played it on stream. I kind of just want to revisit and see what's up.
There's still plenty of show left.
Oh,
And
God
why would
damn
you
it.
Watch alone when you could watch with me and Aerial Powers.
Exactly.
Tune into our watch party to see a lot of exclusive interviews and industrial strength takes.
Trust me, you do not want to miss it.
But don't take our word for it. Come to twitch.tv/NadeHill, powered by Verizon 5G, and come check it out.
See you soon.
Verizon's 5G. The Fatsubi, yeah. Oh no, 2042. The biggest disappointment this year. Jesus Christ. Top 10 worst on Steam. Sag. What the fuck is going on, dude? Oh, is this EA shit? Oh, it is. I noticed that font.
Mechs are here.
Hey guys, FaZe Rug here, and I'm asking you to help me
Who?
destroy 1 billion mechs for Able Gamers charity in the hit new game, Mech Arena. Join me and millions of players
Oh,
in
come
5-on-5 mech action
on.
for a chance to win insane prizes, raise money for a good cause, and get a shot at driving this real mech. Are you ready to battle? I'll see you in the arena.
Ooh, excitement. This play was actually pretty, sounds sick. I actually just added it on my Spotify.
What's one award? Is one award enough? Well,
looks so
gold
good.
medal.
I mean,
Was that enough? Nah. Is one title enough? Nope.
Mortal Kombat.
What about one sponsor? No way. With every win, you only want more. Because enough is never enough.
Kinda greedy, but okay.
Welcome back to present our next award. It's the man you just saw in that WD Black piece, and tonight you can get 10% off selected WD
Wow.
Black products to celebrate the Game Awards. Please welcome 7-time NBA All-Star and owner of Endemic, Paul George.
Ads. Well, that's what comes. That's a given considering their show blew up for the past couple of years.
Good evening,
Wait, the ass emote.
I love action-adventure games for their versatility. 1 minute you're solving a puzzle, the next you're lining up headshots, and then suddenly you're being put on a hook by a vampire lady taller than me.
Ooh.
This category is like a showcase of what it means to be a video game. Here are the
Man talking
nominees
about
for
titles
Best
when he
Action
doesn't even
Adventure
have one in the NBA. Alright, dude, calm down, Gara. Calm down. Jesus Christ, man. Yeesh. Just murdered him there. Oh, come on. Okay, this one Ratchet has to win. Resident Evil, sure. I feel like Ratchet should win an action-adventure.
And the Game Award for Best Action-Adventure Game goes to Metroid Dread.
Ooh, okay. I can get behind that. Fuck yeah. Dude, I really want to play it. God damn it. Oh, Bowser!
On behalf of the teams at
Doug
Nintendo
Bowser
and
himself.
Mercury Steam, who worked on Metroid Dread, thank you so much for this award, and congratulations to all the other nominees. This is the action-adventure category, and Metroid Dread checks off both the action and the adventure box. It's filled with action-packed moments behind every door, around every corner, and on every level. And at the same time, it introduces us to a massive and mysterious new planet that players can explore.
I mean, I haven't played it,
It's the
and
result of
I
a
haven't
true
watched it a lot
collaboration
because I want to
between
play it
Nintendo
myself.
and Mercury
And Ratchet
Steam.
and Clank was a pretty good
And I have
game.
a few comments that the developers asked me to read on their behalf. We'd like to say a big thank you for this award from the development
But
teams
this
at
I can
Nintendo
get
and
behind.
Mercury
This is a
Steam
deserved
that
win.
worked so hard to bring all the Metroid fans around the world the experience that they were hoping for. It's been a dream come true to travel together in this dangerous yet marvelous journey to ZDR. We're so thankful for all the fans for enjoying Metroid Dread on Nintendo Switch. Thank you very much.
Deserve. Good shit. I've been waiting for a good Metroid for years, and you wanted to give it to Ratchet and Spunk. Okay. I'm not biased. All right. Both are good in my book, in its own way. All right.
On Caladan, we ruled with air and sea power.
It's just good in its own way.
Scrabble for desert power.
Move slowly. On the day of your revenge.
If Elden Ring was in that category, then fuck everything. Elden Ring takes the cake. I don't give a fuck. If it's From Software, I am biased. But other than that, I'm not biased.
Your enemy was overwhelming. You'll not be a relic. Yet you ruled with him.
I'm just being honest here.
God created Arrakis to train the faithful.
Wait, Dune?
Arrakis is our enemy.
This is my future.
This is my honor.
This is my vengeance.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? Ah, shit, it's a 4X. My brain's nah. I cannot play a 4X game.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Ashley Birch and Will Arnett.
But okay, a Dune game. That's actually interesting.
Oh, what's up, baby girls? Thank you for having us. We are so excited to reveal a bit about the story in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
And are we talking about the Dragon Lord yet?
Yes, Will plays the Dragon Lord, the central villain within the Wonderlands.
Yes, but in a clever twist, I turn out to be the underdog hero of the entire realm, and it's really beautiful. And it's actually one of the main reasons that I took this role, so.
No.
You mean Dark Souls 3, right? Okay.
What do you mean, no?
You play a necromantic overlord, and not the good kind.
Well, he's a job creator for millions of unemployed individuals.
He raises the dead, man.
Yeah, and he gives them stuff to do, okay? Some of them get to sail, some form a rock band. A lot of them, like, I don't know, stab things or something.
Do you really not know the story of the game that you're in?
Sure. No, you mean the whimsical adventure from the mind of a 13-year-old demolitions expert? Yeah, who whimsically tries to blow up the heroes for 40 levels? Yeah, so if anyone is the central villain here, it's Tiny Tina.
All right, roll the damn trailer.
There is a world beyond the borderlands. A world forged by wonder and ruled by fate. There's one alone who can wield fate. One alone whose story is in their own hands. The Fate Maker.
The Fate.
That's you. Heavy, right?
Gara, you down?
I can aid you.
But we still haven't played the last mission for Borderlands 3. But you down?
I'm sensing some real evil vibes this time. Now follow me.
A beautiful body indeed. And full of power.
I'm invincible!
Looking bad. How do we win this?
We attack together for the Queen!
You'll never get the Sword of Souls, cutie idiot! You want to fight? I'll give you a fight!
That's a big boy! That's a big, big boy!
Sisters, I believe we have found our...
I'm not like a huge fan of Borderlands game, but one thing that I really enjoy about Borderlands game is the gunplay. It feels so good.
Mayhaps it is a powerful ancient meteor, and
isn't a blessing.
It's not. I don't think it's gonna be cheap. I think it's gonna be $60 for sure.
Hold on, what game are we playing here?
We're playing Bunkers and Badasses, baby!
More stuff D&D related. Yeah. Basically, you're playing Tiny Tina's game, D&D style, but like shooter. I think it's a DLC on Borderlands 2, right? Where you play along Tiny Tina's games. I haven't played that DLC either. And that's how this game came along. It's based on that DLC.
Game won multiple game awards, and now they're back in a totally
Yeah,
new,
exactly.
unexpected way.
Oh shit, what is this? Oh, VR game? That's new. I just got a VR. It's good. No! 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 Oh my god.
Pretty fun. All right, tonight we have a very special K-pop performance. The South Korean developer Pearl Abyss wanted to thank you for the great response to their recent trailer for their upcoming open-world action-adventure game, Dokev. So they created a music video working with the popular K-pop dance team 1 Million Dance Studio. Enjoy.
FBI open up.
All night, we are wrapping up 2021 with Spotify, and here for the first time are the top 3 male and female artists as listened to by you on gaming consoles in 2021. Top female artists, Doja Cat, Billie Eilish, and Ariana Grande. Top male, Juice WRLD, XXX,
Juice WRLD,
and Polo G. Later, we will
Man, I
reveal
missed
the most
them
listened to
already.
Spotify songs. Now, a winner earlier tonight for Best Mobile Game. Here's a look at 2 new characters coming December 14th to Genshin Impact, and the first glimpse of the upcoming character, Yeon Jin.
Oh, my favorite game, Genshin Impact. Oh my god, Genshin. Pog crazy.
Sun is shining. Time to get the Yoni Kabuto out for some training.
I'm sorry.
I'm the one who's
I'll
supposed to
stop.
be adored by the kids. Me!
Not if I have anything to say about it. To survive hardship, you must prepare for hardship.
Ooh.
Keep your weapon at the ready. You never know what's around the corner.
Hello. Yeah, I haven't played this game anymore since forever. Shut the fuck up, Sid. Gotcha fucking hates me.
Let's roll. Rally. It's showtime.
Why the poggers is Shroud eating a burger? Because? And no, it's not a burger, it's a burrito.
Arataki numero uno ito here in the flesh.
Poggers! Right, you have cute catboy. Okay. Ooh. Is that a new character?
The king has gone insane. He is a proponent of a theory called animal magnetism.
What is this?
He's capable of anything. This automat is a masterpiece. It could do much more than dance.
Angel of death, descended from the heavens to vanquish the clockwork tyrant.
Oh, it's this. This is the indie Dark Souls, Life P, the Pinocchio shit.
The greater the massacre,
This game looks sick.
the deeper the river where they slake their thirst.
I think it's gonna release on January. Wait, it's a different one. Okay, it looks similar. Still Rising. No idea what that one is. I was referencing to Life of P or some shit. It's like a gothic Pinocchio spin-off.
What's up, everyone? This is Matt Hafey,
Matt!
player and lead singer of the metal band Trivium. I'm also
Trivium.
on Twitch.
Oh shit.
I'm stoked to announce that I'm in Metal Hellsinger, a rhythm-based shooter game. Make sure you check it out. We also have incredible metal screamers, singers like myself, like Alyssa from
Wait,
Arch
a
Enemy.
rhythm game that's focused on metal?
Check it out, my friends. I will see you all in hell.
That's rare. Give me.
There was a soul. Had music inside. They called her
Oh wait, we saw this.
the unknown.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw this. Gameplay looks interesting. It's like that other game that we played, BPM, but it's their own thing. And they have shit tons of metal musician, which is fucking sick. They got Mad Heavy as well. So this is like a wet dream for me. Oh, I'm actually excited for this. Yes, sir. What is this trailer? There's a new map as well. It's been so long. I miss playing Rocket League. Oh, it's the fucking mobile one. Okay. It looks like Doom 2016. I just want to play it because it got Matt Heavy. That's it. There's one Dark Souls game that shows some old street. That's probably one you said. Yeah.
Play your favorite mobile games on your PC through Google Play Games. Take games from your pocket to your desktop and seamlessly pick up where you left off. Google Play Games on PC is coming soon in 2022.
Wow.
Next, here's another brand new game announcement for the first time at the Game Awards.
Okay.
I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere, see new worlds.
What is
look at a
this?
sky no one's ever seen before.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I'm honored to become a captain someday. We need to learn everything we can.
Get the Star Trek vibe.
This can't be right.
Time to impact 1 minute.
Oh, it is.
Jara, I need you to do the right thing.
Oh, it's an RPG Star Trek game.
The fate of the negotiations, the
Oh.
of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Prospect and peace. And the gameplay looks though, but it's cool.
He's back again. Make some noise for Reggie.
Reggie! Oh shit! My man! The man of the century.
Thank you.
Ah.
Wow. You know, Jeff said it earlier. Isn't it great to be back live and in person, back amongst friends? It's fantastic. This is a wonderful time of the year. The Game Awards. Our opportunity to celebrate the creators and the players. What is this, Jeff? 8th year? Something like that? So much, you know, we've witnessed so much over these past few years. The launch of
He's such a
next
legend,
generation
dude. He's
8
such a legend.
and 9 consoles, the mobile revolution, streaming games, VR, AR, and quality free-to-play games. And this category represents another innovation in our industry. This is the award for Best Ongoing Game. It used to be that a game would ship, and that would be the game. But today's developers keep players coming back to their beloved titles again and again by delivering and creating exciting new content. Here are the 5 nominees who are engaging their audiences year after year.
Okay. Is this the one where Destiny 2 in there? Apex, okay. They're okay, they're alright. Warzone, I don't think so. Final Fantasy, big chance to win. Genshin have a shit tons of player base. There's a chance to win. I don't think Fortnite gonna win. No, Destiny's not here anymore.
And the Game Award for the
I forgot who I voted. I think I voted for Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah! Fuck yeah.
Tonight, Final Fantasy XIV Online also wins Best Community Support.
Deserve. 100% deserve. Actually, not a rigged nominee. Let's go.
This is quite the honor to win Best Ongoing Game. The category had so many amazing nominees that it's truly fortunate that we were able to win.
Yes,
there's an incredible team behind Final Fantasy XIV who poured their hearts into the work, bringing new and memorable stories and adventures to our fans, from A Realm Reborn all the way to Endwalker and beyond. So a big thank you to Final Fantasy XIV team, and
They took
can't
out
wait
No
to see
Man's
what's
Sky?
going on in the
I think
future.
it's not on the list.
And honestly, the biggest thanks to our community. They've been our rock, and we're so happy that you
Not
continue
sure.
to give us our support. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah. Probably one of the most dedicated MMO devs out there. Or just devs in general. What is this?
Since the dawn of time, we have sought the glory of competition. But it wasn't always what you'd call friendly. As civilization evolved, so did the desire for battle and the need to be the best. Cities grew, and soon everyone wanted a piece of the action. Some for power, some fame, but many
Oh Jesus.
the thrill of the fight. Even today,
Ah, it's Fortnite. Wait, is it? It looks like it. Okay, maybe not. But you can obviously see they adopted the cartoon style. Because it's easy to... Yeah. Easy to be old age with this kind of art style. So it's a melee battle royale? What is going on here? This is very weird. Oh my god. I don't like the overall design. It's too cartoony for me. Yeah. A little bit too family friendly. Rumbleverse. Yeah, you guys can take this, chat. I'm good. You guys can take this. Alright, have fun.
That was Rumbleverse, coming next year from Iron Galaxy and Epic Games. And tomorrow, there's a first look gameplay event. Head to rumbleverse.com to sign up.
No,
now,
I'm good.
Here's the
I'm
world
good.
gameplay debut of a sequel to a Game Awards nominee from a few years ago, A Plague Tale: Requiem.
Oh shit, Plague Tale. Still haven't finished the first game.
Under the wide and starry sky.
Rats, rats, we are the rats.
Dig the grave and let me lie.
I need to note down all the games that I need to finish. Hold up.
Amicia,
Plague
come.
Hugo,
I'm right behind you.
Glad did I live.
Hellblade.
And I laid me down.
What else?
With a will.
Impossible.
This be the verse you grave for me.
Come on, you've seen worse than this.
Here he lies, where he longed to be.
Damn, the graphics.
Is the sailor home from sea, and the hunter home from the hill.
I don't know what's
We got crossbow.
Lucas. I feel my mind going. I know. Think of your brother. We have to carry on. Oh no. What have you done?
Hugo. We rise.
This year, we partnered with Grubhub to do something really cool to get your food delivered for the Game Awards. Order Grubhub using the code ENDWALKER during the show to get free delivery on all orders of $15 or more and an exclusive Final Fantasy 14 Eat Pizza emote for the game. I know you get some dinner. We got lots of shows still to go. This year, Techland celebrated its 30th anniversary, and next year, Dying Light 2 arrives after a long wait. We've got a new look right now at the game's story with this CG trailer.
Oh, CG trailer. Okay, never mind. Although I am excited for this game. I think last year we already see a pretty decent gameplay, right? Oh my god. Did they delete this? Yeah. Which is expected. Where is my mind? I got the pixie. Jesus Christ. Damn, this is such a sick trailer.
Wait for me.
Oh my god. That's kind of fucked up. Holy shit. Okay. Did not expect that. Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Ah, the Crossfire X game. Isn't it? Oh, is this another Battle Royale? Dude, fucking stop! What is it this time? Crossfire Battle Royale mode? Oh, it's just a campaign, never mind. Isn't this game Xbox exclusive? It's such a weird exclusive for an Xbox game. Not gonna lie. Like, I feel like this game would be big on PC if they ever released it. Like, the only reason a lot of people haven't talked about it is because it's an Xbox exclusive. Yeah. You probably never heard of it because it is an Xbox exclusive. It's a very weird exclusive. Props to Crossfire though. The original Crossfire is actually pretty big in Asia. That's true.
The island you once knew has flipped.
No, it's been an Xbox exclusive for 2 years now.
3, where there are brand new places to explore and exciting new ways to experience
Fortnite poggers.
Start by earning Battle Pass XP beyond Battle Royale. It's all about playing your way to level up and unlock Battle Pass outfits, including Spider-Man. There's also new features to check out. Get around more quickly and evade enemy fire with new sliding and swinging. And even set up camps
What the
where
fuck?
you and your squad can heal and store items from match to match. Plus, there are new weapons and items to help win a victory royale and earn the ultimate prestige, the Victory Crown. Keep winning and keep the crown. Along with these features, the island is all
Jesus Christ.
Explore Sanctuary.
They're not chill with the fucking updates.
The Daily Bugle, along with many more locations. And with the island's new weather conditions, anything can happen. In addition to all new gameplay, check out the Chapter 3 Season 1 Battle Pass that features Spider-Man, the
Oh, damn.
Foundation, and more newcomers. So what are you waiting for? Drop into Chapter 3 and start exploring the
Dude,
new island.
Fortnite is literally Fortnite is literally ADHD the game. This game have way too many things in one fucking game. I just don't even know. I don't even know what the game is trying to do anymore. Jesus. Also, this game is actually fun. Although the Singapore server is kind of dead, so I cannot play it anymore. Pepe hands. Already uninstalled? Save. I cannot, like, the matchmaking just takes too long for me. I think it needs more marketing.
It's been a great year so far for Shark Mob on their first game, Blood Hunt. They just completed a successful early access, and I'm very excited for their full release next year. Blood Hunt will be out on PS5 and PC in spring 2022 and will be free to play. Back when I started the Game Awards in 2014, this band made a bet on me and the show, and few believed we could make the Game Awards a reality. 7 years later, Imagine Dragons is back at the Game Awards for a
enemy.
once-in-a-lifetime performance
Oh, the
that
misery.
celebrates 10 years of Super Giant Games and their first release, Bastion. Please
Here it
welcome
comes.
Imagine Dragons, featuring the composers and songwriters behind all of Super Giant's games.
Oh, it's
Darren
a Super
Cord
Giant
and
stuff.
Ashley
Never
Barrett.
mind.
Oh my God, that is so great. Thank you to Imagine Dragons, JID, and Ashley Barrett and Darren Cord. That's something you will only see at the Game Awards.
True.
Tonight, we partnered with Chevrolet to make the Game Awards live stream more accessible, including an audio descriptive stream, ASL stream with Deaf Gamers TV on Twitch, and closed captions. It's important. And now, to present the Innovation and Accessibility Award, please welcome Jacksepticeye and a member of our future class from 2020, and one of the
Jacksepticeye!
judges who helped select the nominees for accessibility, the incredible Morgan Baker.
Oh!
Thank you, Jeff. It's an honor to be here tonight. Games are for everyone, and this award recognizes the teams that are advancing gameplay, features, and technology to make sure games can be accessed and played by all.
It's incredible to see the effort developers put into prioritizing people who often go ignored, sharing their work with as many people as possible. And that's why we love being able to show our gratitude to those who go above and beyond each year, discovering new and creative methods to encourage inclusion. Here are the nominees.
Innovation and Accessibility, presented by Chevrolet.
In an update that will be coming shortly after launch, players will be able to enable a sign language interpreter.
What? A real-time sign language interpreter in the game?
Escort the blind girl 500 miles down a treacherous valley in the wake of an invading horde.
God damn. Okay. I didn't know that.
And the Game Award for Innovation in Accessibility goes to Forza Horizon 5.
Damn.
Tonight, Forza Horizon 5 also wins Best Sports/Racing Game.
You can get it. Shut up. Shut up.
Thank you. This award means so much to our team because everyone at Playground Games is really committed to accessibility, so much so that we made it one of our core pillars for Forza Horizon. Around the world, there are about 1 billion players who have some sort of disability that makes gaming a challenge for them. And I think it's great that us, as developers and as creators, can add in accessibility features and options and just open the magic of video games to more and more players. I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank Alan Hartman, Matt Booty, Tara Volker, Ben Williams, and all of Team Xbox, as well as our accessibility champs, Tanya, Aaron, and Ryan. And with that, I guess I'll go because it's time to wrap it up. When everyone plays, we all win.
Woo!
What a great sentiment. Such an important award. Congratulations, guys. All right, well, joining me now is Simon Viklund from 10 Chambers. Simon, back in 2017, we announced your studio and your first game, GTFO, right here at the Game Awards, and we're thrilled to have you back. I understand tonight you've got a special announcement for everyone?
Yes. It was a great opportunity to show off the game. Was it 4 years ago? Yeah. And
wait, isn't Simon Viklund the guy who made Payday 2?
To happen tonight, I think,
yes,
right?
yes, indeed. The thing is,
right?
It helped us reach the audience for our
I swear
extreme co-op horror game.
Yes.
And we thought, what better way to announce 1.0?
Yeah.
We've been in early access now for 2 years. What better way to announce 1.0 than to come back to the Game Awards? So the surprise announcement is that GTFO is out now. This very minute, we release it right now.
Someone pressed the button.
Exactly. Back home in Sweden, someone's pressing a button right now.
Amazing.
And it's out now, and there's no better time to get into GTFO than right now with 25% off. And we worked hard to make the game more accessible.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's more accessible. And yeah.
Well, let's take a look. We've
Let's
got
take a
something
look at
brand
the trailer,
new.
yeah.
All right, 1.0 GTFO. Thanks so much, Simon. Check it out.
Anyone still play GTFO? Because I haven't. It's been so long. Oh no. Wait. Am I off? Okay, never mind.
They wake us from our nightmares to make us new ones.
I forgot who bought the game. I played the beta, but I didn't like it, so I didn't buy it.
Where every resource scavenged
Who?
might give you one more
Exactly.
chance. There's only one rule. Let us just get in and get out. Giving it what it wants. Or die. In the dark. No sudden moves. Where the monsters wait. They're all over us! Get it! Over here! I found it! Grab the item! Close the door! Close the door!
This game nailed the vibe for me, but not the gameplay.
What terrible things do we do
What up, Yua?
to deserve such?
It's just for the Game Awards.
All we know is we'll have to work together, or we'll die together.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I really like the vibe that the game gives, but not the gameplay. The gameplay is it's not what I expected.
My name is Mike. I go by Mike the Quad, and I stream on Twitch. Let's go! I joined the military in 2008. When we came back, I was involved in a motorcycle accident, trying to figure out how to use a controller without having any hand function.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
That kind of sparked my advocacy. I wholeheartedly
Oh yeah, that
believe
controller
it
that
kickstarts
Xbox
a
created.
patient's rehabilitation.
It was actually sick. Twitch Prime! Ooh. Looks like my internet is screaming right now. You guys can refresh for no delay. It's kind of all over the place.
Raid Shadow Legends. I mean, wow.
Oh
You pick
my
your champions, they're glorious, and their shields, oh, they glisten like wet otters. But the bad guys, they're Lovecraftian, they're spooky, they're big. And then you go to battle, and it's like, and finally your foe is vanquished, and that satisfaction is such a primal feeling. Ooh.
Download Raid Shadow Legends. Get exclusive free bonus pack with
Okay.
TTO 2021 promo code.
What the fuck, Jeff? Okay.
Now we must find the prophet
Oh, it's the chorus game.
and kill him.
Will we finally hunt the circle?
Yes. I'm done running.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of a flight game thingy. So I'm kind of good with this one. I think I'm gonna pass. It looks fucking epic though.
The time has come to strike.
Chorus. Hey, it's my headset. Medal of Honor.
The Master Chief returns.
We need help, not heroics.
By the way, I downloaded the campaign. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream it yet though. Is it good? Has anyone played it yet? Oh my god. Jesus.
You are not the future. You have one bullet against an entire army.
As Saints. Ho, ho, ho.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Exactly.
Halo Infinite launched yesterday, and I know I'm playing it this weekend, and I am excited to watch next year when Steven Spielberg's Amblin Television, Showtime, and 343 Industries bring the legendary Master Chief to life in the live-action Halo original series, streaming exclusively on Paramount+. Here is the world premiere first look trailer.
Oh shit, we get an actual trailer. Halo.
You're special.
TV series.
In fact, I'm counting on it.
Oh shit.
We're lost in the dark. But you give people hope. And I will always be with you. I see this as in
Oh, that actually looks good. I'm still kind of skeptical though. I feel like making a TV series based on Halo is gonna be hard.
Please welcome the Chief Creative Officer from Epic Games, Donald Mustard.
Oh, this guy.
That was crazy. That was amazing. All right. So making games that are original, innovative, and really push the medium forward is not easy at all. It's the culmination of the work and the talent of hundreds and hundreds of people and countless hours. And it only happens when there's a clear shared vision of what a game can be. These nominees for Best Game Direction represent what's possible when it all comes together.
Best Game Direction.
You have no idea what's out there.
Dude, stop putting Deathloop everywhere. I'm done. God damn it.
My name is Raz, and I'm the new intern. This is the part where you lose.
Oh, so awesome. All right, and the award for Best Game Direction goes to Deathloop.
Haha. Whatever.
Yeah, so Deathloop is my first game as a game director, and it's also the first game that Sebastian and I are co-creative director for. And actually, I don't mean that as a brag.
Oh, your cat threw up again?
It's terrifying. terrifying for us, terrifying for the team. So, yeah, I really want to thank the...
Is that a serious question? It's Halo. I mean, I'm just saying.
For, taking the leap of faith of giving their best work to make this strange game that no one can sum up in 30 seconds, actually work. And yeah, and also thank you to PlayStation. You believed in our vision. Thank you to our fans. And actually, I have a lot of people to thank, but not a lot of time. Can we make those 30 seconds loop?
Ah, good one.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll stop here, but just if you allow me a small last word for my family in French. So, Lilia, Aya, Papa, Maman, je vous aime très fort. Merci.
Merci. XQCL.
Now it's time to take a look at some other award winners tonight. In the category of Best Esports Game, presented by Grubhub, here are the nominees. And the Game Award goes to...
CSGO.
League of Legends.
Fuck you!
For Family Game, here are the nominees. And the
Mario.
Game Award goes to... It Takes Two.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Here are the nominees for Best Fighting Game.
Guilty
The
Gear.
Game Award goes to...
Guilty Gear.
Guilty Gear
Easy.
Strive.
Easy.
Next, Best
Easy.
Sim Strategy Game. Here are the nominees.
Inscription.
The Game Award goes to
Nah, Microsoft.
Age of Empires
Okay, whatever.
4.
Yeah, good game.
The nominees for Best VR AR Game. And the Game Award
Resident
goes
Evil?
to Resident Evil
Yeah.
4 VR.
Yep.
And finally, your most anticipated game presented by
Elden Ring.
Gaming.
Elden
Here
Ring.
are the nominees.
Elden Ring.
And the Game Award goes to Elden Ring.
Let's go!
Well, everyone, our next guest is a little shy. If anyone in the audience has any twin blades or wings.
Where's Kay?
spears,
Ah, she
I'm
left.
talking to you, Reggie. I'm going to ask that you please put those away for now. Let's bring him out here. He's a little shy, but look, everybody, it's my pot friend.
What?
Come on out, pot friend. Great to see you. You should put a bow tie on or something. Come on out, pot friend. Don't be shy.
Oh shit.
Looks like he's got a note or something. You got a note there, pot friend? Yeah, all right. Let's see. Let's see what this note says. Thanks, pot
Dude.
friend. Good evening. Please enjoy my gift. A new trailer for Elden Ring.
Let's go!
I guess we've got another world premiere trailer. Thanks, buddy. Let's check it out.
Oh my god, dude. Let's fucking go. Chill.
Age ago. But when I recall, I see it true. On a night of wintry fog, the rune of death was stolen.
I got a feeling this is gonna be the intro for the game.
And the demigods began to fall. Starting with Godwyn the Golden.
Jesus.
Queen Marika was driven to the brink. The shattering ensued, a war that wrought only darkness.
Yeah, this is definitely the intro.
Broken. But by whom? And why?
Oh my god. It's so beautiful. I'm not as hyped for SR as Red for Recycled Soulspore. Yeah, like I said, I'm not biased, but with From Software. Oh man.
The conqueror of the stars, General Radahn. And the blade of Mikkel and Melania the Seventh.
So epic.
These two were the mightiest to remain, and locked horns in combat.
Whoa.
But there would be no victor.
Dude, it's so beautiful.
And
Fuck.
so we inhabit a fractured world, awaiting the arrival of the Elden Bull. Unless, of course, thou shouldst take the crown.
Oh god. Oh my god, I got goosebumps. Ah, fuck. Just 2 more months. 2 more months.
Good. Just confirming the date. The same. February. Okay. Excellent. Good to see. Amazing. I can't wait to step deeper into the world of Elden Ring when it does come out in February. Tonight, we've teamed up with Spotify to reveal what you're listening to every day on gaming consoles as part of Spotify's Wrapped. So what were the most listened to songs in 2021 on gaming surfaces? Here are the top 3. Rapstar by Polo G, Montero by Lil Nas X, and Mood by 24K Golden featuring Ian Dior. Congratulations, and make sure to make your Spotify Wrapped tonight.
Wow.
Stick around because coming up, Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss reveal The Matrix Awakens. We debut a brand new Next Generation game, and the Game Awards Orchestra pays tribute to our Game of the Year nominees.
Da, 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 da. Ads time. Chat.
Go ahead and break off, old-timer.
This is actually long as fuck. Like goddamn.
I never break a rule 2. Rule 2? Oh, you're one of them. I've got all the break off. You know you want to. Never. Well, respect. Respect. But seriously, break off.
What?
I fell into games and I lived and breathed them for so long. I just never knew that it could be a job that I could be good at. I'm Anissa Sanusi. Now it's a boss fight. And I'm a UI UX designer in video games.
Nice.
Hi, how are you doing? I was born and raised in Malaysia, but I came
Chat,
to
we're
the UK
almost entering 4 hours.
If you're a minority,
Well, I guess it's
you're
3 hours without the
kind of go
intro.
through life feeling like you're an imposter.
Oh, she said
I
it.
think that's what made me wish I had somebody to talk to.
Imposter.
So I decided to create my own mentorship program. Limit Break is aimed at underrepresented people working in the UK game industry.
Ba-doop-a-doop, ba-doop-a-doop.
People just really want to be connected and be a part of a community. I feel like anybody who wants to make video games should be able to make video games.
Facebook gaming.
What's up, everyone? I'm Sydney Goodman, and I'm about to step into the Fear Truck to play some Resident Evil 4. I am terrified, but excited.
Jesus Christ. Oh, they do like a thingy thing. What the fuck? Not gonna lie, I might bail, but I kind of want to stay in case there's something that we might miss. If they're gonna do one more ad break, I'm done. Okay? You just keep it at that. Dude, it's 11 a.m. I cannot. I'm actually watching this while multitasking my work at the side. It's Friday morning. I'm working right now actually while watching this. I just kind of stream it. Thank God there are no meetings today. Oh wait, this song. Wait. Hold up. Who's... What song is that? It seems familiar. I'll check it out later. Yeah, I'm multitasking. Outriders. Oh wait, no it's not. It's a new game. Okay, it looks like Outriders for a second. This game, I'm actually kind of skeptical. I'm not quite sure about this game. I'll probably wait until the game actually came out and give it a try. Because it's kind of like a... yeah. The trailer is kind of skeptical.
Hey everyone, my name's Artubo. My go-to is probably going to be It Takes Two.
Hi everybody, my pick is Psychonauts 2.
Gonna have to give it to Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. A pure joyride of fun from start to finish, and that's hard to beat.
Wow. YouTube Shorts.
That was a look at which Game of the Year nominees YouTube creators and fans want
I think this is going to be the last one.
Tonight. We'll find out if they are right when we present
You have a
Game
pet
of the Year.
sidekick while you shoot?
Every year at the Game Awards,
Basically.
we try to find games that push the medium forward in new and unexpected ways. This game comes from Embark Studios in Sweden, a new team of veteran developers. Their first game brings together thrilling multiplayer PvE action, a next-generation physical sandbox, and incredible visuals to create a truly dynamic player experience. Here's the reveal, complete with real gameplay.
Wow. World premiere. What game is this again?
There is no way to hide.
Nexon.
Kings, barons, queens. We give them different names, but they're all the same. Killing machines falling from the sky. This is our home. Our bastion of resistance.
What the fuck is this?
Is where the brave meets the bold. We will not die in the shadows. We will face our fears head on. Showtime.
Ooh. Interesting.
Watch it. Scout ahead.
Convert him back
I am not sure what's going on here.
You owe me one. Perfect. Let's do this.
Me home. Whoa, I keep dancing on my own. Isn't this Armin van Buuren song? I keep dancing on my own. Atari logo.
They will never stop coming.
And we will never stop fighting. Is that gonna be the tagline?
Marks on screen, calling for volunteers. Enlist, resist.
Air Art Raiders. I like the 80s aesthetic there. Like a futuristic, the 80s futuristic aesthetic. I like it. Kind of sick, kind of sick.
That was incredible. And now we have two special guests joining us for a very special moment. Carrie-Anne, Keanu, welcome.
Oh
I'm
my
sure you guys
God.
recognize this iconic
The setup.
moment, right?
Jeff, thank you. It's good to be here at the Game Awards, and yes, this is one of the scenes that made The Matrix
Can you?
groundbreaking and perhaps inspired a few video games too.
Oh shit.
Impressive.
Thanks.
Can you still do that?
Absolutely not. But I can in the Unreal Engine 5. I believe everyone here is expecting to see something new, so here's a never-before-seen look at The Matrix Resurrections, exclusively for the Game Awards 2021! Let's roll the clip.
Dude, I fucking love Keanu. Such a wholesome guy.
Where are we?
Tokyo. A moving portal makes it harder to track us. Seeker's the best of them.
Portal's clean. Reading no shadows.
I don't remember this.
We don't have to run to phone booths anymore either.
I'm definitely gonna watch this day one. Just for the nostalgia.
Set and setting, right?
Oh, no.
It's all about set and setting.
After our first contact went so badly.
What the fuck is going on?
Past might help ease you into the present.
Nothing comforts anxiety like little nostalgia.
What the fuck is going on?
Resurrections looks awesome, and we can't wait to watch it on December 22nd. But getting back to tonight's theme, which is the world of interactive
shit?
entertainment, I have to say, Keanu, you've been in several great video games and immersive experiences. Did you ever think that one day a game could look as real as being in the Matrix?
Absolutely. I mean, we are reaching the point at which the line between the physical and virtual worlds are blurring.
And with interactive storytelling reaching stunning levels of fidelity,
It's
maybe
like
it's fair to ask.
It's like a
what is a game?
old kid.
What is a movie?
Over 20 years ago, The Matrix pushed the boundaries of filmmaking and visual effects. We couldn't have imagined where the state of the art would be today with photorealistic digital humans in virtual sense.
To push the limits, once again, we decided to team up with Epic Games.
And now we are proud to bring you tonight's final world premiere at the Game Awards 2021! A glimpse of The Matrix Awakens, an Unreal Engine 5. Experience, experience, experience.
Dude, I fucking love Keanu. God damn. Such a wholesome guy. Fuck. Alright, what is this? This is a Matrix game?
Hi, I'm Thomas Anderson. Like many of you, I work with computers. But computers are also mirrors, reflecting back on what we are and the choices we make, the worlds we build.
It's a young Neo.
You still got it.
What the fuck? They gamified the fucking old movie? Oh. Oh. Excuse me?
Oh yeah, it's playable. Everything you just saw is running in real time in Unreal Engine 5 on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. It is pretty mind-blowing.
Wait,
and
not on
now
PC?
You can download and experience The Matrix Awakens for yourself for free right now in its entirety. It's available right now. Make sure to play it.
It's not on PC?
Mind-blowing. Epic is just taking things to another level. Play it tonight, please.
It's not on
As we
PC?
look to the future of games with platforms like Unreal Engine 5,
Are you kidding
it's
me?
now time to celebrate the best games of this year. To present Game of the Year, please welcome last year's winner of Game of the Year and Best Game Direction from Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann.
Oh no. Alright, chat, calm down. Calm down, alright? Chill. Calm down.
Thanks, Jeff.
They say they partnered with
it
Epic.
feels
Well,
awesome
yeah.
to be back here together in person. Congratulations.
But doesn't
to
mean it's gonna
everyone who
release on
managed to
Epic
release a
Game
game
Store
this year.
on
Perseverance,
PC.
dedication, and passion are inspiring, and there's no shortage of that in this room. Now, performing music from each of tonight's Game of the Year nominees, once again, the Game Awards Orchestra.
Oh, this is the good part. Game of the Year anthem. Who's gonna win, chat? Who's gonna win the Game of the Year? I really want to put my money on Resident Evil Village, but we'll see, I guess. Your mom, good one. I still haven't played Psychonauts 2. God damn it. So many games to play, so little time. There it is. I think I voted for Resident Evil. Lady Miranda. Oh yeah, there is a Metroid Dread. Dread could win. I feel like Dread could win. No, I forgot Deathloop is in the fucking nominee. Oh no. Nice guitar. I swear, if Deathloop wins, I'm done. Actually a shitty. Oh no. I got a bad feeling. Oh no. Oh god. Please. Resident Evil or Metroid. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh my god. Come on. Please don't let Deathloop wins. Please. Please.
That was fantastic. A fitting way to honor the very best of the year. Let's hear it one more time for the Game Awards Orchestra. And finally, congratulations to all of tonight's nominees. All pretty incredible games. And the 2021 Game of the Year is...
Come on, come on, come on.
It Takes Two.
Okay, I'll take it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Oh my god, this guy is so wholesome as well. I'll take it.
So unreal, this thing. I was up in that stage 2017 saying fuck the Oscar, and now actually in a way the Oscars got fucked because the Game Awards is getting way better. So. I know there are I'm gonna be extremely fast, so I want to thank my let me see, my beautiful team for a fantastic work. Obviously without them I can't do anything. And also, I want to say, I want to give this award to my daughter, Mio, and my soon-to-come daughter, Zoe. It's so nice to have children. I'm surprised how much you love them. If you don't have children, go get them. I mean, this is the best thing that can happen. Thank you again. I'm really proud. I'm shaking. Look at me, man. This is like a big, big moment for me. And Neil, you're a big inspiration. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Joseph Fares. So amazing. All right, what did you think of the winners tonight? Did your favorite game win? If not, post your thoughts with a YouTube short and let us know who got shorted tonight. Thank you again for watching the Game Awards. We'll see you next summer for Summer Game Fest. Such a pleasure that we got to do this in person. Thank you so much. Have a great holiday season. Good night, everybody.
Wow. Okay. Wow, okay. That's kind of anticlimactic for some reason. Okay. Well, that was the Game Awards. Yeah, I mean, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Red, delete the buff thingy, please. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay. Alright, chat, I gotta bail. Yeah, I gotta focus on my work shit now. But that was it. That was the Game Award shit. I feel like it's okay. It's not the best thing. I feel like last year still better. But then again, this year gaming in general is just kind of like slowing down because of the COVID. So I do hope next year is gonna be huge for gaming in general and stuff like that. Just a little bit, being a little bit hopeful. But yeah, anyway, chat. That's it for today. It's a short stream just for the Game Awards. I'll probably gonna see you guys again later tonight. We're gonna do some gaming and stuff like that. We'll see. But thank you guys all for watching. Thank you, Yua, Gara, OneSin, Saints, and everyone else who stopped by and chilled out in the chat. Thank you, Kay, Raku, everyone. Jigs, thank you. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a good day. Most of you guys probably just started the day off anyway, so enjoy the rest of the day. I'll see you guys later tonight for some gaming and stuff. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright? Take care. Have a good one. Peace out. I'll see you guys on the next stream. Johnny. Bye-bye. Retrap H in the chat for you guys for watching the stream on a off schedule. Thank you. Means a lot. Bye.